We should be live, boys.
Hola, baby. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Or welcome for the first time.
Yeah, or
Maybe.
that.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
the
A lot of
the week about finales, huh? A lot of shit to
Yeah.
talk about. Big week, big week.
big
stuff.
coalescence of TV this week. I'd
Yeah.
say.
Everything came to an end here.
How did you guys feel? Were you guys like dreading it? I was kind of like sad. I was like sad that they're all like right here. I don't know.
Yeah, I was a little more emotional for Ted Lasso. Like I was like, damn, like it's fine, like it's finally ending. But
Yeah.
no, yeah, it feels good to finish like a TV show like these.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's bittersweet.
yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know. I guess for me, I was dreading catching up because I was a couple episodes behind on Ted Lasso. So for me, I was dreading catching up just because, yeah, this season, not my favorite thing to watch, but you know,
Yeah, it's fair.
got it in there. Last couple episodes felt kind of long, but yeah, no. Other than that,
Yeah,
it was just kind of like, fingers crossed that they land it,
for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, that's how I
So
felt too.
on every one of these, all three of these. So
Yeah,
it's a mixed bag
Yeah.
for
Well,
me, but
Joe, what's up, dude?
Can you
welcome.
hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
New
Cool.
place, eh?
Sure. I don't know. Are we streaming right now?
Yeah, we're live.
Oh, okay, cool. I'll just tell you about it
So
when we're
drop your
not
address
live.
real quick.
yeah.
Yeah. Open the window.
Yeah, right. All right. So, what are you guys talking about?
We literally just started talking. I was just saying
Yep.
how that was a big week for finales and asked
Yeah.
if it was like dreading it or were you excited for the finales or how do you feel now?
I don't know. I mean, it was weird. I mean, I don't know. 3 big shows ending like all this week. Like,
Yeah.
and I mean, I'd say at least 2 out of 3 of them were pretty fucking good. I mean, I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah.
That's in my opinion. We can
Well,
get
we'll
to
get
that.
to that later.
After
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, pretty fucking wild. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say I came away respecting the decision to end them all, even though I didn't want them all to end.
Well,
I'd
like,
say.
I guess we can get into that later because I didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you guys been watching anything fun? Just, I mean, there's a lot of shit to watch this week, obviously.
Dude, I feel like I watched a shit ton of stuff this week. I binged through that Shrinking show on Apple TV. And it was
Is that any good?
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty funny, and
I'm gonna get around to that one soon.
yeah, it's solid. I think it does a lot with like, it does. I don't know. It does things that like Ted Lasso does, where it's just like really good character beats and like
Yeah.
deep character changes in like kind of like short moments. So yeah, yeah,
It's
I
the
enjoyed it.
same guys who did Ted Lasso, right? Writers.
Yeah,
Couple people,
yeah.
right?
Which is so funny because yeah, I've watched Scrubs, Ted Lasso, and Shrinking now. They're all Bill Lawrence like produced or written.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just on his train right now, enjoying his stuff.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, I'm watching the new Clone High, which is also produced by Bill Lawrence, actually.
Oh yeah, I saw that. How's that?
It's alright, it's pretty good. I mean, the newer season's better since there's like a modern sensibility to it because the older shit's kind of dated or whatever.
Yeah.
But
It like showed up on Max for me, but I put it in my list. Maybe I'll check
it's
it out.
fine.
I don't know.
It's fine. It's
Yeah.
kind of stupid, I guess.
I mean, you
But
talked about it last week, right?
yeah, I caught up on the old show like a couple weeks ago, and now it's airing its new season now every 2 episodes every week, I think. So
Gotcha.
been watching those.
Cool.
Nice. My
Yeah.
week was filled with fucking Barry because I had to plow through all
Catch
those.
up.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Barry and Modern Family for me.
Hell
So
yeah.
not
Decent.
too bad.
Uh,
Not too
Also,
bad.
finished Dave, which I'd actually
Oh, yeah.
recommend you guys watch Dave now. I've come around to it, kind of like
Yeah.
they just did the final episode last night, and
of like the show or the series?
no, I think
Like,
there's
or
gonna
the
be
yeah.
yeah, I think there's probably gonna be like maybe 1 or 2 more seasons, I'd say. Um, but the finale of that season had like Brad Pitt show up as like
Oh,
himself
really?
and hang out with Lil Dicky, and it's just I don't know he can get like big names and the writing is pretty good in it. So it's definitely a show that's like kind of flying under the radar right now, but is actually like pretty good quality, honestly. So
I mean, Lil Dicky's a pretty smart, like, at least with his songs, he's pretty smart when it comes to writing and stuff. So I just feel
he
like,
has like songs layered into that. I'm like, oh, yeah,
yeah,
it's kind of free flowy and whatever, but it's good.
Yeah, I remember enjoying the first season of that, but I was just like, I wasn't sure, yeah, if it was worth continuing.
It's cringy at times for sure. I mean,
Yeah,
I mean, I
it
lived on
tests
it.
you
It's fucking
a
Lil
little
Dicky.
bit.
Like,
yeah, it's true.
But overall, it just feels very modern and very. It's funny. It's got some good laughs and shit. So
yeah, I've been watching Anthony Bourdain, No Reservations.
Mm.
I mean, I had like watched his shows before, but like now, like all of the seasons of like both of his shows are on like Max because like they merged, and it's pretty good. I don't know. I mean, like it's pretty much him just like traveling to different parts of the world, and like it's like 50% about like the history or culture of that place, and then it's like 50% of him just eating really good food there. But like also like Anthony Bourdain was just like a really cool dude. So I feel like he just like gets along with everybody. Like everybody's like showing him around and stuff. I don't know. I put it on in the background. Like while I was packing, I feel like I flew through like 2 seasons. So like
Yeah, nice.
I don't know. I mean it's pretty good. I'd recommend it.
yeah, I think I should toss that on sometime like that where I'm just like kind of chilling
Yeah.
one day. And,
I don't know. I feel like I've learned a lot of cool shit about like different places and like different cultures and stuff just from the show.
Right on.
Yeah, I don't know.
That is cool.
Yeah,
I mean, he seems like a pretty cool dude, like respectful dude too. Of
Yeah.
where he's going. So
Yeah, I know he's like widely respected in that like chef TV reality kind of space. But I'm a sucker for those shows, man. Like street food and Ugly Delicious and like
Yeah.
those cooking
It's kind of
shows.
like funny because like he'll be like eating like street food sometimes, and sometimes he'll be in like really like high class situations, and it's I don't know because
Yeah.
like it's all over. Like it's like everything that he's like eating, you know. Like
Yeah,
so that, I
that's
feel
cool.
like that's pretty cool. Yeah,
that's cool.
Nice.
that's about it for me.
That's kind of, I mean, that's how food is too, man. The contrast, like fucking high end, can be just as good as like a street taco.
Sometimes you just need a burger, you know.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Oh, I did also see. I mean, now that it's like Max and they're combined, I saw like all of Chopped is on Max. So maybe I'll just fucking binge all that sometime. I mean, like I've seen most of it. They separated it into like volumes. So like I'll probably just start at like the latest volume and go from there. Or maybe it'll just be like my background show. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's like I feel like you actually like learn how to cook shit too, like based on like what they do sometimes. Because like sometimes like they work out and then they'll like add extra shit to it, and like I don't know. I feel like it's like you can actually like learn some you know.
Yeah.
That's like the one thing that HelloFresh has helped me with. This episode brought to you by Hello. No, we're not.
I get HelloFresh too. We can take the sponsorship.
I say it enough times, it'll happen, right?
Yeah. We'll wish it to existence.
HelloFresh.
No, but yeah, it's helped me. Like, I feel like I'm learning to cook too, which is nice. Getting some instincts.
Dude, you should if there's ever like risotto for any of the recipes, you should try it.
Yeah. Okay.
It's kind of hard to make, but
yeah, I was gonna say it's
pretty fucking
rice.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, well, I can go into it if you want. Basically, like normal rice, like white rice and stuff, is like long grain rice. So risotto is like medium grain rice. So like, you basically just like cook it a little different. So like, you don't just straight up boil it. You'll like put in boiling water into like a pan that has the rice and like whatever else you're cooking it with, and you'll have to like keep adding water as it'll like suck up or like boil out,
thicken and stuff. Yeah.
If you don't want to use rice too, you could use orzo pasta. That's pretty good with.
Oh shit, that could be good.
Just yeah, I mean that's how I make like my lemon rice soup. I'd use orzo pasta instead of instead of rice. So I just like pasta better than rice. So I'll throw that into the mixer.
Fair. I'm a carb whore. Like pasta, rice, bread, all of it up there.
Any other recipes we want to share? I mean,
the most recent one I cooked that I like saved was the lemony Brussels sprout spaghetti, and I was like, am I gonna like this? Like, it seems, I don't know, Brussels sprouts, but it was fucking fire, man.
I think I've had that one too.
Yeah, it's one of the few that I've saved the like recipe card for because like I'm gonna make this on my own.
Oh, you don't save all your recipe cards?
I
I
say
got a
most of
fucking
them.
stack somewhere.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
I
in
have
all my
like
shit somewhere.
a file folder.
A ton
Oh
of
yeah,
those.
yeah. I got like 5 or 6 that I've like really. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, these are the tits. So
Nice.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
I also watched I forgot the John Mulaney, his Bobby J special. I don't know if you guys.
Okay.
I never heard of the guy, but I saw he had a special, so I watched it. It's pretty good.
Really? You never heard of John Mulaney?
No, and that's funny because he was talking about his in rehab when he went to rehab. Nobody fucking knew him there, and he was like expecting everyone to know him. And so I was like, I'm one of those guys because in the special he says his name, and he's like, and if you didn't know that, you were probably in rehab with me. I was like, yeah, I didn't know who this guy was, so it was pretty good though.
Dude, I feel like I was like exactly the same way because I feel like I like really didn't know who he was, and then I just like met a bunch of people who like talked about him all the time, and I'm like, all right, I guess this is a person. Like,
I know
I've
him
never
from his like
been
fry
huge.
bit. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of him either, but I know him from his like early fry bit where he's like talking about how like girls share fries and it's like, should we get fries? Should we just do it? Should we like for the table? Like that kind of thing. But no, I don't know. Yeah, he's not my favorite, but he's alright.
No.
I like him
Kind
Spider
of
Verse.
hammy.
Yeah,
I-
yeah.
I mean, I think
Yeah.
for me, I just like I don't know. I'm not really that into like comedians, so like I don't know.
Mm,
Like I don't really watch like just stand-up specials, so like I feel like that's like.
Yeah.
But I guess he does have a lot of other like roles now, or like little roles or whatever.
Yeah,
You know?
some TV
Like
stuff
Big
going on.
Mouth too, right? I mean, like isn't he like
Mhm.
play a main character in that or something?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And I'm a fan of
Yeah.
that show.
I'm not a
Love
huge
that
fan
show.
of comedy specials usually. I mean, I like Dave Chappelle. He's like my favorite, but like him
Yeah.
and probably Bill Burr are like the only ones I'll like actually actively seek out for comedy
Yeah.
specials. So
Yeah, I'm with you
Yeah.
there. I was thinking about checking out Burt Kreischer's. He's got a movie coming out called The Machine.
yeah, The Machine.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
It
Yeah,
looks enjoyable. Right?
yeah, looks like a good time.
Yeah.
But no, I'm with you. Dave Chappelle, Ricky Gervais.
Oh yeah, Ricky's pretty good.
I'm a big I like him a lot. But yeah, it's like it's got to be. I just got to be interested
Quality.
in the person. Yeah, quality comedy. So
For sure.
Good, well written. Well thought out. That's what I kind of liked about the Bobby J special because he was actually just a good storytelling. Like it wasn't
Okay.
necessarily funny, but it was like a good. He took us on a good like linear story, which was kind of nice. So
nice.
yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to Matt. I was like, man, at Carthage, I like really considered like trying stand up, like doing just like going to open mics or some shit.
Yeah.
But I bitched out because I was like, I don't know what the fuck to say. Like, I feel like it just ended up me like venting about shit, like bitching about stuff. So it's like I don't even know where to start.
You know
and
what?
where to end.
I feel like how you really get into it too is like experience because like you just said, I feel like most people getting into it are not going to know what it's like for the first
Yeah.
time. But I mean, like I feel like that's with like a lot of things. But
For sure.
yeah,
No, it's
I
like
feel like you're not going to know what it's like until you do it, and then you're going to go from there. You know?
yeah, I feel like those early shows would really just be you like hammering the anvil, kind of like seeing what works and what doesn't.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
playing the crowd, what gets the
Or
laughs.
just like getting the feel for being up there. You know?
Yeah, that too. Fucking stage fright. I know I'd be
Yeah.
like so fucking nervous, just being like,
It's all
Yeah.
on you.
Yeah.
On the stage too.
and like I feel like the crowd is like the default is like, all right, asshole, like make me laugh. Like,
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
they can turn on you quick, so so quick. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
Got a charm.
Yeah, it's different with music. I'll definitely say that. Like holy shit.
yeah, what's that? I mean, you guys been playing shows and stuff like that, Joe? Like recently?
We played a show last month. I don't know. Yeah, it went pretty good. I don't know. I'm in 2 bands now. I think the other one we just like recorded a song.
That's dope.
I think they're trying to get shows like in a couple of months or something. So
Yeah, I feel like most people go to like concerts, even if it's like not well known. It's like they're there to vibe and
Mhm.
Yeah.
kind of chill and
Yeah.
experience something new.
Yeah, I feel like there's like so much live music like in the city. Like I don't know, there's like so many random bands that just play just to play.
Yeah,
So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Right on. Right. Well, should we get back? We kind of went on a
derailed.
Anything
a
else
little bit. Yeah.
you've been watching or what?
I haven't really been watching anything else other than that. Or the shit that it was interesting though, because I watched Barry before I watched Zodiac.
Same.
So like
Yeah.
just it gave me like a weird vibe like watching Zodiac, because like I knew that this was based on like true events, and even in that movie there was like a movie in like called Scorpio, like that was just super interesting. And Barry seeing that, like, you know, like what they did at the very end, like how they totally changed, like the movie totally changed the fact, like not like totally changed, but I mean like Barry was the good guy, and like the, you know, so like just it was just like, what can I trust now?
Right. True.
Yeah. There's a lot of sociopaths out there, man. Be careful.
Yeah.
Tried to dive back into David Lynch a little bit last week too.
I saw you logged one of his. I don't know what that fucking thing is that you logged, but a movie.
Yeah, I'm caught up on not caught up because I have to watch the newest season of Twin Peaks, but I got through like all the old shit now and slogged through it, and I watched the Twin Peaks movie. And I mean, I don't know, like people love David
5 out
Lynch.
of
When he's
5.
like,
Oh,
it was okay. I'll say this: it was my favorite thing I've seen of his, but I've also subjected myself to like 50 hours of Twin Peaks. So like the movie like answers every question and shows you every like nuance of what happened before the story. So like it pays off everything away. So that's why I enjoyed it too. So it's a good movie. I think it's his best thing I've seen. Um, I don't know, man. People love his shit. It's
Yeah.
good. It was good. He has like top
was it though,
100,
Matt?
top 250. That movie was meaningfully good, and it's dark. It's about like I don't want to get into the themes because Twin Peaks has like really dark themes about like molestation of your children and shit like that. Yeah, I'm telling you, it goes there. It's Lynchy's dark shit. But then I watched The Rabbits, which was like a short film that he did, and it's like almost straight up like devoid of entertainment, and it's like trying to do it that way, but it's like. And I look at the comments of people like, "This I found so much 5 stars. I found so much meaning." And I'm like, it's like, are people like searching this hard? Because I search for meaning really hard, but like when I find someone that's not giving me anything to get to base it on or to keep going with, like I instantly lose like their credibility. So it's like I just don't really understand some of Lynch's supporters. Maybe they'll come around in 20 years, but
At least with David Lynch, at least with like our experience when we watched a couple of his films, I don't know. It's a stretch to just find anything like Mulholland Drive. I No, that
it's
was a
rough.
meaningless movie, in my opinion. I mean, sure, you get what you get from it, but diving any deeper, I just feel like there's nothing there. Like people
And
make
Lynch is a
substance out of
quirky
nothing.
guy.
Right.
Yeah, and it's like you gotta just dive into Lynch's head, and like it's like sure, but I honestly don't think Lynch is like that deep in his
No.
thought process when he's making these. Like that's my theory. Like, and people are like, there's so much hidden depth in fucking the rabbits. Like it's just like
No, there's definitely a
no,
sense of like probably showing up on set and him being like having the script and be like, all right, now we're gonna toss like half of this out. Let's just see what happens.
Did you
And
guys watch the
just-
What Did Jack Do? His short film on Netflix. I watched that one too. It's him
Uh-huh.
talking to it. He's basically interrogating a monkey for 15 minutes. And it's like hilarious. That one's kind of funny, and I think it's supposed to be kind of funny, but like it's just so surreal, and the dialogue is so cheesy and kind of like trite that's its style. And like, but to me, it's like it's fun to like wink at and laugh at, but the quality is like not there. It's like I see it, but it's not like anything that elevates past something. You know, I don't know.
So
He's
like these
involved.
last couple things that you brought up, like I don't know, I've kind of just spacing out to be honest. But like okay, the monkey one, for instance. I mean, like, did he like write this or like just direct it or like
He writes and directs like everything he makes. Like it's his one vision. So
well, like including his movies?
Mhm.
I mean, like, well, I guess which one was it? Fucking Seven? Wasn't that? We're still talking about David. Or we? Oh,
No.
you're talking about David Lynch.
Yeah, not Fincher.
Yeah, sorry guys,
Close.
it's been a long
You're
day.
good.
No,
You're
no,
good.
I've confused him a lot before too.
Mike.
You're good.
Does my mic sound bad?
No, you're good.
I don't think so.
I mean, to me, it sounded like I don't know. It didn't sound as crisp as it usually does. So maybe I'm just.
Is it coming through the mic? Do you hear like
Yeah.
whispers?
No, it's coming through on that now.
Should I adjust the gain a little higher now? Is that better? Is that good?
Is there like
Sure.
something in the background playing? Like, do you have anything in the background?
No.
Huh.
Just
So
room noise.
yeah, well, it doesn't matter. But I feel like when you talk, sometimes there's like background noise.
Yeah.
It might just be like my PC running or something.
Maybe
Yeah.
yeah.
It doesn't sound bad by any means. It just sounded different than last week, but who knows?
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's not
Hate audio.
registering.
Maybe you have the same problem as Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Join the club.
Around.
Uh,
Yeah, other than that, that's really all I had.
I've been meaning to watch Beef. I just
Same.
haven't really had time. So.
It's good. Actually, they're putting out the round tables now. I don't know if you saw, but they just dropped another one today for comedy actors, and it has like Jason Segel,
Nice.
Stephen Yeun, and John Mulaney's on it actually. And
Oh shit.
yeah, so it's pretty cool. It was a good combo. So I'd check it out if you're interested in them.
Cool. Yeah. I love watching those roundtables. Those are
I just wish the
entertaining.
interviewer was just like away and just let the people talk.
Just like
Mhm.
let them generate conversation.
Yeah. It's cool to see them like all relate and like vibe off different experiences with productions and stuff like that. Yeah, it's
Their
cool to
different
see. Like,
creative avenues they take and stuff. Interesting.
yeah, they like share methods. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. Well, do we want to talk about the Little Mermaid? Did you boys ever see it? Did you boys see it, or
I
Yeah, I
have
mean,
not.
we don't have
Yeah.
Disney?
Wait,
Duck
Matt,
on
did you
the-
say no? I thought you were going to
have
see it.
not.
oh, I saw it. Yeah, it's
Oh, gotcha.
we can just make that the Disney Dunk Corner this week, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
Have
it's
at
that
it.
bad, guys? Like, come on.
what do you
It is-
think, Alan?
It was probably a recent time. I changed my rating since I've been stewing over it since I watched it. First off,
It's getting worse and worse.
2 hours and 16 minutes is fucking ridiculous for a Disney
Oh.
movie.
Yeah.
A Disney princess
Longer
movie.
than the original. Like,
But
how
it's
do
for
you?
kids. Like, I don't know. I feel
Yeah.
like their attention span is not going to be that long. Like,
Right, which
I don't know.
I'll get to because my theater was full of kids, and yeah, but this was the most soulless piece of, I don't know,
Really
I'll put
did
it
it to
in
you?
quotes, entertainment that I've
Mhm.
seen in a while. I mean, it was just bad. I didn't like it. I was bored out of my gourd that whole time, and it was just there was all the actors seemed like, except for Melissa McCarthy, she was kind of like in and out.
Knew it.
But
I knew
other
it.
than that, like Javier Bardem, I don't know what the fuck he was on, but that dude was not on the same set as everybody else. He wasn't even in the same fucking planet. Like that
Yeah,
dude
the
is so fucking good at acting.
fake
And then
mustache and
Yeah.
beard.
oh my god, he's just yeah. And then Halle Bailey or Haley Bailey, however whatever her fucking name is. Yeah, sure, she's fine. Not the greatest actor. She can sing, sure, but she cannot act, and you have to rely on her acting because she doesn't speak for half the film. And so her facial expression are just just kind of like, okay, whatever. And then Prince Eric, nobody gives a fuck about Prince Eric. And we have to endure like his whole side story, side quest, him singing a little number on the fucking,
Out at the ocean.
oh my God. It was just, it's bad. Sorry.
I get you. I mean, I feel like you had the solace experience that I had with The Lion King a few years ago because that was like my rock bottom of like entertainment when I watched that movie.
Yeah.
So maybe I've already just like accepted the fate of entertainment now, but this one wasn't like it wasn't as bad. It was like watchable, in a sense. I'd say. I mean, The Lion King's watchable too, I guess, but like. Honestly, I think what really carried it for me is the songs, because like the songs are so fucking good from The Little Mermaid that like
Those?
I like the songs from The Little Mermaid. Yeah, I mean they're catchy as shit, and I watched The Little Mermaid as a kid. You know, I mean it's the one representation I have as a redhead. You know.
All right. So, guys, now that you brought up The Lion King, put that into the mix. Now let's get down to the real question. How was Flounder?
I mean the CGI in it was like pretty off-putting. It like
Oh, yeah?
it's Flounder in the movie is like impactful and colorful and vibrant
Right.
and a character, and in this movie it's like so flat and negated and boring that it's like the fish isn't even there almost. It's like that's probably what the fish looks like in real life, but it's like, and that just like every time you think about that, it just brings me to the thought of like, well, you shouldn't make this then, like,
Yeah.
or
You
you
think
should
they
make it in a
thought-
style that works. But
Like, why wouldn't they have picked like a more like a gold colored fish instead of like brown like it turned out? It is more like brown
Or
I
looking.
just
mean, it's like see-through. It's like translucently yellow and brown.
Gotcha.
And
or just
I don't know
make
why
it
you wouldn't have just went the classic like vibrant gold with some blue
Yeah.
flecks, you
happen
know?
for
Yeah.
sure.
like make it cartoonish. It's a fucking
Yeah.
Disney
Yeah,
movie.
right?
I mean,
Yeah.
every time he came on screen, I was the only one in the theater, but I cracked up laughing. There was a couple times where his just stupid ass look just made me laugh, and Sarah was just like, "What are you
I'm
laughing?" I'm
picturing
like,
like
"You
being
don't
in the
see
theater and
this?"
just like whenever Flounder like there's a bunch of kids and whenever Flounder comes on, I just hear a cackle like in
Oh
the
my
corner.
god,
Like
that's how it was. I would
No
laugh, and then
joke.
I'd be like, "Oh shit," you know. But God,
I noticed like it was like during one of the big musical numbers at the beginning, there was like some dude sitting next to me and they were like wriggling and I was like, what is it? And I look over and they're like dying of laughter. I was like, holy shit. And I was like, I get it, but I was like, and then one moment really sent me over the edge of like, dude, who okayed this shot? Who okayed this sequence? Who okayed like this is like
let me guess. Let me guess. The
the
rock
rock sequence?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm just like, because that's when it was like that. It was like peaking at that moment with the guy laughing next to me. So like I bought in at that moment too, where it's like supposed to be her big like proclamation of like I forget what the fucking lyric is, but she's on the rock and it's like the wave splashes behind her,
So bad.
and
Classic.
to get to the position that she had to
She
get
just
on
she
the
just
rock,
glided up the rock.
like skittering up
Slippery.
like. It's like you could tell like somebody was blocking the scene and was like, okay, we're gonna have to shoot you down here at the bottom of the rock for your first part, and when the water splashes, we're gonna want to get into this big impactful shot at the top. So we gotta get you from the bottom to the top somehow in these 4 lyrics, you know. So how are you gonna do it? And I was like, okay, well maybe I can just slide up the rock and it's gonna look fine. And dude, it's supposed to be like the most heavy, heartful moment, and it's so funny. I just don't get like some people's taste in that moment. Like when they did it, I wonder on set, like if they're knowing that they're just kind of making shit, or they're just like pasting
You
film
just
to get.
see, see the animation keyframes of like getting her there or something.
I just like. I mean, I don't know what you thought also, but like visually, Under the Sea was like so gray and shit, and like
Mm.
it just like sucked all the joy that the original had out. Like,
That's what I'm saying. It was so soulless and lifeless that I was just kind of like, "Oh my god!" And like
Yeah.
to the runtime, there was kids behind me about like probably the hour 40 mark. They were just started talking because they were like, the kids were done. They checked out, you know. And it was
Yeah.
just, I don't know.
Yeah, and yeah, like you said, I mean, you said it right because Halle Bailey, the voice was great. I mean, sure, it's good. It's hard to live up to the OG voice, in my
Right.
opinion, anyway. Like, because that's fucking good. And like her facial expressions, her acting. Some people were saying like she embodied Ariel. She's the new Ariel. I was like, dude, she's like, I question like
Mermaid number
people's.
4.
I don't know, man. I don't want to like get
Well,
it because I was not against her casting,
I mean,
other
like,
than
I
the
feel
fact
like
that like
you
it doesn't
kind of
feel
make a good point
just.
because, like, look, like for this one, are they trying to follow the actual fairy tale of like Little Mermaid, or are they trying to follow the like original like Disney movie? Because like for Mulan, for instance, they followed like whatever source material that was actually based on, not the original movie that they made. So, like in this case, which did they try?
I mean, it's the movie for sure.
So, I
Maybe
mean,
they
like,
tried to go a little darker or something, but not really.
I don't know, because like you said, embodying Ariel. I mean, yeah, you're embodying like the first character, but like I don't know.
It's
So I guess like there's also gray area there, is what I mean, because like it's
yeah,
what source
well,
material you're taking from, like you're
for
trying
sure.
to go off of. You
And
know?
like when you're going off of the cartoony movie, it's like I was watching like a fan actor. It's like I was like watching my sister like act out the Little Mermaid. You know, it's like we know that movie, so any actor is going to be imitating it or like I don't know. It's
Like,
just
take you out
there's
of it.
no joy there. There's no like
Yeah.
discovery. There's no like.
So let me ask
Emily
you
had a
this,
good time.
guys: how do you stop it? How do you stop this live action shit, the Marvel
Well,
shit,
They just
the
gotta
Star
bring 'em
Wars
up.
shit? How do you
This
stop
point,
it?
this movie is doing quite
Keep
poorly
hitting it.
even
Big
overseas.
protest.
So I mean, maybe
Oh,
they'll
okay,
be
cool.
like,
Mm.
"Hey, this isn't
Had a pretty
you
good
know."
opening weekend, but I don't
Yeah.
think it's gonna have any legs on it.
Well, the thing is like
Whoa!
they were like, "Oh, the it's the biggest movie of this weekend, and it's Memorial Day weekend. It's like, well, it's the
I
only
thought you were
fucking
gonna
movie
say
of
the
the
summer.
weekend. So, I mean, it's up against what? The Machine? No,
Yeah.
unless you
Yeah.
know Bert was Kreischer or whatever the fuck, you're not gonna go see the Machine. You're gonna see the Little Mermaid, and if you don't want
I
to see
mean,
Little Mermaid, you're not gonna see anything because there's nothing fucking playing. Of course, it dominated. Fuck off.
at least we can see the new Spider-Man just like fucking crush it like this next
Yeah,
weekend.
it's
Yeah.
gonna have a tough
Yeah.
weekend now, I'd say.
It's
So
something to
Hey.
look forward to.
I have to say, on top of the rock scene, because even Sarah busted up with that one. We were both cracking up because it was just so sinister
the
watching him
choreography.
creep up the thing and then
Yeah.
like reel back and jump up for the spot. It was just fucked up. Yeah. And Javier Bardem, I don't know what. Honestly,
It's that Disney money,
dude-
man.
He was
Yeah,
just
right.
cashing
Yeah,
cashing
yeah.
checks.
he needed
Like
he
his
needed to
right
pay
up.
off
Cash and share.
some taxes or something. I don't know what the fuck
Yeah,
it was,
he
but
he showed up and said the lines. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
literally it.
and he looked like he was dead inside.
Yeah.
The worst thing they did to me that night was have Aquafina rap. I
Yeah.
hated that shit.
Scuttlebutt. Scuttlebutt.
Such
Wait, she was
bullshit.
in
Scuttlebutt.
this too?
Yeah.
I feel like
was-
she's been in like so much stuff that you've been watching recently.
I know. And
She's
I told
following
Sarah
you.
that too. I said as
Can't
soon as her
escape.
voice came on, I said, "This bitch, she's just following me," because I just watched Renfield. And I told her I was
Yeah.
like, "I just watched Renfield with her, and I hated it. Here we are." So,
I liked
Yeah.
Lin-Manuel Miranda. He added some good lyrics here and there. Yeah, I agree. Scuttlebutt was kind of a weaker addition. It's just like I mean, Aquafina's a rapper. I'm pretty sure, right? Like that's how she
Is
kind
she?
of got.
I guess.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty
I
sure
don't
she is.
Damn.
Like
those
I've never
I
heard
was
any of her
vocals.
music, but yeah.
I
Yeah,
listened to that
yeah.
song and I was just like, I would not want to listen to that voice. Like it's just like too. And you could have maybe tailored it to a more entertaining degree. Maybe she can't. I would think that you could, but maybe she doesn't want to. But also, you're the most unlikable voice that I've ever heard. So it's like,
Yeah. It's like a voice of a 9-year-old chain smoker. It's like
nah.
You're kind of right. That is not that
Yeah.
far off. Like,
No, that's a good. Yeah.
that's like spot on.
it was rough. I hated that. It was fucking criminal what they did to me that night.
Yeah.
I wanted to
And-
crawl out of my skin.
Did you demand your money back? You should have gone out of the theater and be
Yes.
like, dude, fucking
Who
refund
let this
'cause-
woman sing? Somebody who did it.
And David
Clearly a
Diggs
lot of
is
people.
Sebastian is the lobster.
It's like kind of
too.
crazy because like I'm pretty sure my sister like loves Aquafina.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I'm sure she's got fans.
Here, I'll text her right now.
I mean, the only thing I've seen her in was Shang-Chi, and I thought she was okay in that. She
She's
was like
alright in that one.
the
Yeah.
comedic relief kind of.
You have to like dose it well with her, or else it's
Yeah.
like you've overblown it with
Yeah.
I don't know, little effort. But
Mm.
yeah, I will say I was kind of worried about Melissa McCarthy as well, and she was the one highlight of the movie. She bought in and she gave me a genuine laugh. So I was like,
Mm.
thank you, thank God.
Yeah, there's something. Yeah.
That was the only redeeming quality was Melissa McCarthy, and that she was probably my only song that I liked was sung by her. So
That's
I
a
mean,
great song too.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. The reason why this movie is even like half as watchable as it is because the songs were already there. They're just banking
It's
on that.
confirmed, guys.
She's a fan.
Yeah, she's a fan.
All right.
So they took out the chef song though. I don't know why they did that. I mean,
Because it's so fucking scary when you actually watch it live action. Like that would
Like,
be
the
so
real-
terrifying. They probably like that's what it's like. These are the things that you have to like run through your head and be like, well, maybe we like something's weird about this, and we shouldn't. Like maybe we shouldn't be watching because fucking Scuttlebutt, fucking Scuttle dips into when you first meet him, he's underwater, eats a fish right next to Flounder, and then Flounder's just like, or Arrow's just like, oh, it's just Scuttle. It's like, dude, that could, like,
That
what?
could've been you, Flounder.
There's like a weird disconnect happening
He's
here. That's
quirky.
like, right? And that fish isn't sentient, I guess, or maybe that was his friend. I don't fucking know. Like
Yeah.
it just is like you have to like turn your brain off, but then it doesn't let you do it right. These movies, I feel like, I don't know.
Mm.
Also, maybe you guys can clear this up with King, but did he just get around? Because he's got like a daughter from different, like 7 different mothers. I mean,
Yeah, they're just we
Was
just
that-
want representation.
I guess.
I haven't seen The Little Mermaid in a long time. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, me
I mean, there's
neither.
7 seas, right? Like each
There-
one
there
gets
you
a
go.
sea.
neither.
Damn,
Hang
these
on,
dudes get
I'm-
around.
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
shit.
It's
I don't know.
Disney. It makes sense. It's Disney magic.
Polyamory is
I
getting
guess.
more popular, guys. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm kind
anyway.
of serious. I'm kind of half joking, half serious. Like,
No, you're not wrong. Madison is big on that. Pride Month this month in Madison.
yeah, that's one too.
Man.
Any
Well,
more
Little
thoughts
Mermaid.
on Little Mermaid? Or
What'd you rate it,
Gotten
Matt?
the-
I've been
gotten the
dying to
demons out.
know.
I didn't even like really think about it. I think I'd probably
One.
give it like 1.5 to 2.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
Just because of like the songs. Like I don't know.
I was at
Yeah.
2, but stewing over it, I'm down to 1.5. And that's being generous, I think, at this point. I need to stop thinking about it, or I might drop it.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair.
Half a star.
I'm really worried about the Hercules one because that's a movie I actually really care
Fuck,
about.
dude.
Yeah,
I didn't know
same.
they were making a live action Hercules.
It's coming. They're all coming.
That
You just have to
cartoon
let them
slaps
burn
so
it out.
hard too.
That's like
Fuck yeah.
the question. How do you stop it?
You can't. You
Let's
can't.
we'll go online, get an online protest going. I'll sit out front of
Yeah.
Disney HQ.
Let's just start a petition, like
Seriously.
to stop them. Like,
Yeah,
people will sign it. Like,
I think they would,
A
dude.
lot
They'd
of
be like,
people will
"Stop
sign it."
destroying my childhood, please,
Too
please,
late.
Disney." Yeah, yep. Fuck.
and
Too
then Disney
late.
will, whoever like submits the petition though, like Disney's just gonna like take them out.
Yeah.
Like it'll be like
Yeah.
me. The next week I'll just be like missing. Like,
Disney, the amount of hits Disney has put out, we don't even know.
yeah.
I wonder
I
how
mean, we
many
have.
Walt
hits
was.
has Mickey Mouse fucking put out. There's got to be at least a few, right? Like there's somebody
Uh-huh.
going
Uh-huh.
at Disney.
Can't disagree with Disney, man. I'll get you.
Yeah.
And should we start talking about all these finales then, or what?
Yeah,
What
let's
show you
do
want
it.
to
Yeah,
do
let's get
first?
after it.
So many.
Which one you guys want to kind of start with?
Ease in with some Ted Lasso, or what you think?
Yeah, let's get Ted
Yeah.
Lasso over with.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
down with that. Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
with Ted
well,
Lasso, they did the unimaginable, the unthinkable, didn't they? With the end, is that what you guys didn't want?
Oh, they
Ted
didn't.
going
They
back.
got second
They,
and didn't end up winning it all, or what do you mean?
Oh, yeah.
He got back with his wife, didn't he?
That's
Yeah.
like
Kind of what
they
they're
didn't
hinting at, it
explicitly
seems
said it. Like he's just there as a
Yeah.
Midwest dad coaching his son in soccer. Like,
Yeah,
I
but
guess-
she
I guess
came out of
that
the
doctor's
house. The
out,
door
too.
was open. The doctor
Yeah.
didn't come in.
Dude,
the doctor was
and
making
they made-
remarks.
yeah, they made
Yeah,
such a
yeah.
big deal. Like he was being such a dick in that last
Yeah.
game. Like, just watch the game, dude. Who cares? Like, why you gotta be such an asshole about it? Like,
Right.
How's that guy?
I feel like
dude, I don't like.
I don't
I don't
know.
know. That character, both those characters are so fucking unlikable. That's
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to rally Ted
Dude,
around that if that
And,
is his
like,
end.
I feel like they just kept like dancing around thought of like Ted and Rebecca getting together because like they also never like explicitly said it. The opening scene is
Yeah, they
like
fucking
Ted in his
fuck with
fucking
you.
underwear, and everybody's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, are they
And
like
Beard.
banging?" And then
Yeah.
then Beard and what's her name? Fucking
Jane.
Jane show up, and like you find out that they all just like stayed there that night.
Yeah, why'd
So,
they
like,
stay the night?
Yeah. Weird.
I don't
No,
know, like
Why-
just
yeah.
like
just to like
to start
fuck
out the
with the
episode.
audience. Yeah, honestly, like at that point, I was like, because I've been Rebecca and Ted.
Yeah.
What's the word?
Mhm.
Shipper.
Dude,
This
like
whole time,
when
so I was like, here we go, fucking thank
right?
you.
When I
Yeah.
saw that, I'm like, I was excited, and after
Fuck with
that,
people like
I
me.
feel like I just really went downhill for me the whole episode. Like,
Not really.
yeah,
It didn't really go downhill, but I can agree that I think Ted Lasso didn't fully fulfill my love of the show throughout the final season. The end, solid ending, and brought it kind of home for me in a way, but just like Ted. But it didn't. I don't know. The missteps in the middle of the season could have been avoided and could have been more impactful to the whole story, and then it kind of like I lost importance in the show, and I felt like the creators lost importance in the show a little bit too. So
Yeah,
that's just
man.
how I feel a little bit.
yeah,
I kind of felt the same because it was like it like undercut. It's a show called Ted Lasso, and then at the end, it's like the story was never about me. It's like it just like
Yeah.
worked against itself. I was like, bro, like how is it not like?
And like
Yeah.
and even so, like a lot of characters like got no resolution. I feel like
Mhm.
they like brought up more problems for them, and then they didn't
Yeah.
get any like
The Keely
like
and Roy
uh,
and
yeah,
Jamie
Keely,
stuff.
Roy, and Jamie, like all
Yeah.
those characters. I don't know. Yeah, like Jamie got to like have a relationship with his dad because he's in rehab. That was cool.
Mhm.
But like Roy and Keely, like Keely was like so much a side character in this episode. Like she just
Yeah.
showed up after Jamie and Roy were like fighting, and that was like pretty much the only time you saw her, other than when she was in the stands. And like she had whole episodes about her this season.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like they just really were like directionless for a lot of characters, and just like in this season, they just tried to give everybody some screen time. You know?
Right.
Mhm.
It's like they wanted to make problems for some characters just to make them more interesting, but like it didn't have to be that way. Like they didn't have to bring back in the one guy who has the restaurant. Like they didn't have to touch that. I mean, obviously they just cut him and Rebecca off like cold turkey, but
I
for two
kind of like that
episodes,
at least.
yeah, well, I thought that
Yeah.
whole relationship was fucking weird anyways. It didn't really make sense,
Yeah.
but like with Keely and Roy, I don't know, it just felt incomplete, not thought
Mhm.
out.
Yeah.
Ted and
I
Rebecca
felt
was completely fucked. The
Yeah.
guy who is Rebecca's assistant, who just goes all the time,
Oh yeah.
is just fucking annoying.
Yeah, I
That's
said
fair.
like last week and
Those
the
are
week
all good
before,
points.
all he does is just spill his tea. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like what the fuck. Yeah. Not much
Yeah.
character. I even felt like they didn't even really do Nate and Ted a whole lot of justice. You know, like it was like I guess
yeah,
it
the
was
apology
poignant,
scene.
but
They
Thought
gave
it
it
was
the moment.
okay. And
I,
I
it
guess
Yeah.
hit
like in
me,
the
it hit me in that scene.
too was pretty good too. Like I mean, everybody like at halftime pulling out the poster and
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
like
that was a nice moment.
during the
Mhm.
game, even like using Nate as a reference basically to run a play, I guess.
Like a fake
Mhm.
play or something like that. That's what they were
Yeah,
trying to get
because
across.
he was like an actor, or Jamie was acting,
Uh-huh.
but they actually passed the ball to Sam.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, there was nice little moments like that where they like shift some of the jokes and like moments they set up in the first season or two.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, there's
Like,
so many
you remember
callbacks.
that? Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of that actually.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Which I appreciated,
I
but
didn't write
they
a lot of them
only-
down, but yeah.
No, yeah, they only went so far for me because it was just like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, some of them were just like literal callbacks where it's like Roy's standing behind Keely at her car and she's like scared. You know, like that's
Mhm.
just like how they first met. But
Mhm.
the ones that worked for me were like Nathan's box and Jamie actually putting money in the box this time, putting extra money in the box this time, compared to the first time when he was putting gum in the box. You know, like
Yeah.
it's like they got there, they got the overall trajectory of the story, but they stopped caring about putting heart into it to get there. For me,
Right.
almost is kind of
Yeah,
weird.
I even almost missed like the whole. I liked that like Ted he finally got the offsides.
Yeah, that's
Shit down.
huge. That one works for me.
It was big. Yeah, that was like a big one. The Zorro, like I didn't think was a horrible moment. It was like it's like a joke they kind of set up like way long ago that I didn't like fully see coming, but
That one made me laugh when he was like, "No, Zorro."
Zorro, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
That's
Him and
good. I
Danny,
mean,
it was cool. That's
I
good.
did have a lot of laugh out loud
Or
moments
like,
in this episode
did
too.
you say like the offsides for like Ted?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
like
yeah.
a big
He like called it out
roast
instead of
moment.
him
Mhm.
not knowing what he's doing. I feel like it
Some of
did
the best.
show like how far like Ted grew as like a coach in this episode. I feel like kind of highlighted that because like I mean you
Yeah.
can tell like he is actually like good at his job. I mean I
Yeah.
don't know, like he fully understands how to play soccer now. So like
Yeah. Dude,
Right.
I don't know. Did you guys I like okay, maybe I read it completely wrong, but like that scene where it's Ted and Rebecca in the stands, and Rebecca's kind of just like
You should
pitching
say.
it to him, like why you
Yeah.
should say all these good reasons, all the
Dude,
right reasons.
I'm
and
just
I'm
like,
like,
why don't
okay,
you
yeah,
just
and
tell him you personally want him to stay? Like
right, and I still got the because Ted was saying so little. I was like, oh, Ted knows his answer, and like we don't know it, but like to me, it was like a yes, like he's gonna change his mind and
yeah.
like and stay.
I
But
mean, he's sold on going home. I think it would be more
Yeah.
impactful if we cared about him going home more. I mean,
Right.
right,
I care about his
right.
son. I think that's the most draw for that story, even though I know and we've bitched this whole season about the son not caring, but the
Yeah.
wife character is the one that I'm not sold on, that I like
Pretty
don't give a fuck
insufferable.
about him going back for. So it's like
Yeah.
that's when they ended on like maybe the guy's not around anymore, and his wife kind of likes soccer and shit now or something. It's like it's like did I no? I wanted Ted to end on in a better place. He's kind of just gone back, which I don't know. I kind of have come around to the idea that Ted is one of the least changing characters throughout the whole show, which is like fine because he clearly knew who he was at a very young age and like what he instilled in others in his own life or whatever, blah blah. But like, it's kind of like it's just like not enjoyable, I guess, to see him go back to the person who has caused him all the strife that the show has shown us. I don't know. It's just I
Yeah.
don't know.
Especially after being in therapy, you think they'd be like, don't like this relationship is,
Right.
but
Mhm.
don't reindulge because
Like the episode that kind of I think set the wrong trajectory for his end story, or like the overall was like I don't know if I'm into it now, was when his wife shows up with the therapist and like he's like jealous of them going to Paris and shit like that. I was like, are we really at this guy's? Is this really where the character is right now? Because I don't think he should care. Like I don't know. So like I
Yeah.
just feel like they didn't.
Like I feel like it like undercut all of the growth that he's made, like he made in the second
Right.
season, or like like I don't know, or
Yeah,
I guess like the
it's,
first season too.
yeah, I don't know. I understand like where you guys are saying like they didn't really have full fleshed out storylines, which kind of sucks. And they tie the strings up at the end enough for me to be like, yeah, okay, but it's not great.
I wonder, like I wonder if they did have an initial plan, like for 3 seasons, and like an arc for at least Ted or certain characters,
I don't
and then
know
they just like embellished a lot or like added in extra shit, like
more.
way too much shit into the third season.
Well,
Like
I honestly don't know if they had a full trajectory. I think maybe like Ted going home was probably a big part of the plan, but how and why, I don't think really.
Yeah.
And like Roy and Keeley, I think they found that along the way. It's like stuff like that, it's like,
yeah.
and then they got to sell it, and they didn't really sell it well. But
I
So
think
I'm
there's too many
curious.
regressions, some characters, but no, go ahead.
So like based on how this ended, like is there supposed to be a spin-off, or is this actually like the end of the show?
it's supposed to be the end. Honestly, out of all these shows that just ended, I think this is one that I think we haven't seen the end of the Ted Lasso universe, but that's just my theory. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they won't bring it
Like-
back, but
There will be like a spin-off and like Ted might show up.
yeah, I mean, you could do Richmond,
Yeah.
AFC, that's the show right there. But I worry. I thought about that too. I was like, spin off Richmond, but then it's like, what storylines are you going to mine? All the same storylines you just had trouble mining in the third season, So it's
Yeah.
like, maybe you shouldn't, But
Dude, none of you talked about the song yet, right?
the So Long Farewell
Oh
one.
yeah,
Did you talk? Yeah, I mean,
No,
like,
no,
I guess,
yeah.
like, what did you think of that?
It was cheesy and heartful.
Like,
A little
yeah.
bit outside the show for me, but
yeah.
Like,
at least,
I don't know. I mean, like, I thought it was like, I don't know, almost like meta, I guess, because it's like, yeah, you're like, we're not going to see you again. Like, this is the end of the show.
Mm.
But I feel like they didn't have to do like the whole song. I get it, like it was for Ted, but I don't know. I feel like it was kind of a little too
Low up,
much for me.
for sure. I mean, the team has shown that they do like to do choreographed things like that before, so it kind of worked in that way for me.
Yeah.
But I agree, it's
And they
like
were all good. I was kind of surprised, specifically with Isaac, because like
his like singing voice.
he kind of went off. Yeah, like I wonder if like he actually has a background in like
Probably, right?
yeah, like something like that. Because like I don't know, I've always felt like a weird feel for his character. Like if like I don't know, I feel like he's not a great actor. But now I'm like wondering if this is just like not something he does all the time. Like
Yeah, I think they did try to like at the beginning of the show hire people who like knew football a little bit too. So maybe it's like some of these guys are more just like football guys and kind of actors, too.
Yeah.
So. The So Long Farewell moment though, as goofy and kind of outside and weird it was when they all cheer at the end, like the whole stadium
that
breaks
seemed
out.
like the cast and crew, like the cheering because like it's like the last fucking thing they're doing. Yeah,
I was like, that was
that was
fun.
for like them. Yeah,
Right. So I enjoyed the end of it. Yeah. But yeah, talking about character regressions, I feel like the one actual drama-filled moment in this episode was between Roy and Jamie when they're in the bar. And what did you guys think about like the fact that they have like grown all season together, and then like one scene they're
I don't get is
back?
why are they fighting over Keeley again? Since when did Keeley show interest in Jamie? I guess I wasn't picking up on that, but
It was like
like
subtle, like every other fucking hint in this show. It's
I
just
guess it was just so frustrating too. Just the fact that I mean, we touched on Keeley's story and character just not being
Your
just
cat back
getting
there, a dog?
fucking. Yeah, I got 2 dogs.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, Keeley's character just getting massacred this season, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I just feel like I think she should have just ended up with I don't know Roy. Just if
One of
didn't
them.
want to please people, they just wanted to subvert our expectations. I guess like with the whole Rebecca and Ted thing, and then now Keeley and Roy, and I don't know. It was
Yeah,
just the
it
only
sucks
person
Yeah.
who
when
got
like
a fucking partner that they wanted was Nate. Who the fuck gives a
yeah.
shit about Nate? Anyway,
Yeah. No, I
It's
feel it. Like a show so much about interpersonal relationships. It sucks that like we didn't get to see like one of them, some of them like pan out.
yeah.
Happy
it's
ending.
almost like they grew contempt for like the way they were their audience, or like I don't know, because like
It kind of makes sense. I think I get
sense
what you
like
mean.
yeah, or like they I don't know, they didn't fully buy in after a certain point, because I think the conversation with the Diamond Dogs where they're talking about if people can change, it's a good scene, and it's like kind of reflective of like the whole journey for a lot of the characters, and if Ted's the Lasso way works or whatever, you know. I don't know. What do you guys think about that scene, and like what does it mean? I guess to the whole show for you. Or, yeah.
I mean, so who was the one of the people, I think it was Trent Krim, said you don't necessarily change, you just like grow into the person you're supposed to be. And then
Isn't
Nate
that
said he
changing?
thinks people can change. I
Mm.
think it is technically. It's just like
Okay. Just
I
wanted
don't
to
know.
see
I
it
would
up
say
front
like
and
the
put that
difference.
out.
In my opinion, I think the difference between the two uh, trains of thought that they brought up was that like changing to the person you're supposed to be, I think is just like taking a hard look at yourself and like seeing where you're like, I don't know, like
Yeah.
what you actually want to do or who you actually are. And
Yeah.
I think like what Nate was talking about obviously was more like changing for the better.
Yeah.
Like you realize like the bad things about yourself. Because like, I don't know, in my opinion, I don't know, I think people can change, but like nobody's gonna change unless you think that there's something you have to change.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I
Like
mean, they
unless
landed on Higgins, which is like you take baby steps towards like the goal or like what you want to be better at, and then you'll be like better or whatever. Like that's the
Mhm.
Yeah.
summation or whatever. But
As long as you're
yeah,
working towards it, it's like
yeah.
that's a sign, right? That
all
you
right,
are changing or trying
you're
to.
changing, right? Yeah,
So I guess like realistically, I think it is like what you said, Alex. They're probably like pretty much the same thing, or it could be the same thing, but I guess they're not like mutually exclusive, in my opinion. There's like overlap.
I
Yeah.
thought it was a good question to ask because, like, I mean, all three of these shows, I think a lot of media nowadays is questioning if people can change or like,
Mhm.
can people truly change or become something else? And, I don't know. I thought it was a good examination of that idea in Ted Lasso, I guess, especially with like Nate being like, he wants to think people can change because he's the man who went on the biggest change journey, and stuff
Yeah.
like that negatively. And like I don't know, all the different ideologies kind of lined up in a way to make it
You
meaningful.
know, one thing I did actually like about this episode, Rupert like finally got
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
fucked
his
over.
comeuppance.
Yeah.
Dude, when he's walking down that hall and like his fucking big flowy blackjack, I
Mhm.
just in the back of my mind the Imperial theme was going, like the Darth Vader theme was playing, like the yeah.
Yeah,
I
for
was like,
sure.
yeah. No, it was good to see him finally get some comeuppance because dude's a dick.
Yeah. Like
Push.
there was like I don't know, a second I like felt kind of bad for him, and then I'm just like, I mean, he's an asshole. Like
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he
don't
brought it
know.
on himself.
that's like the moment
Yeah, like he
where
did it to like he really did
yeah,
it to himself.
where he like needed to see like where Sassy calls him an asshole or whatever, and it's like I felt like there was a moment where it's like, oh shit, like I am an asshole.
Yeah.
Like, people have been telling me that. Like, yeah.
I wrote down a few moments that just made me laugh because Ted Lasso, if anything, each episode has like a few handcrafted, perfectly like timed, just like jokes straight to your heart. I feel like I don't know. The Zorro one was one just because I love that character and he goes from Van Damme to Zorro. It's just like because he got the black mask on. What do you guys think of the Zava giant avocado? I thought that was pretty cool.
That's funny.
Um, I'll say I really am going to miss the character of Beard too, because if there's one character that I think could extend past this show, it's definitely Beard. And him saying "shut your butts and sit your mouths down," and he's like, "You know what I meant." Like, his delivery and his like performance is, I think, one of the better ones in the show.
For sure.
And then the moment that just brought the love, brought home like kind of the journey for me was Ted doing his fucking dance with the
The
boys
Running
at the end.
Man.
Like,
Mhm.
God, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like that's what
I
that
feel like
moment
that's even a
sealed.
callback.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
that moment in
Oh,
the
yeah.
first episode sealed like love into the show. Like when you saw that moment, it's like gave you
Mhm.
character, it gave you like love, it gave you like joy, and it showed you. It's like it made me think like this team is like the next chapter of Ted Lasso's journey because like his old football team, he probably had like the same cast of characters, or he was like impacting them in the same ways, and like
Mm.
now we get to see the team we know doing the dance together. You know,
Yeah.
it was cool. I liked it.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I what? Actually, I don't think it was this episode. Never mind. I was gonna bring up another part, but I don't think it was this episode because I watched two. So now, never mind. I just did they go to Jamie's house this episode or was that last?
That was
one?
the last episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I wonder because I was actually going to say something too. I wonder if it's the same thing.
Is it when
I don't
he
know.
meets his mom and says, "Hey, you"?
Oh no,
Yeah.
but that was kind of funny.
I thought that was this episode. But yeah, that got me a laugh. I don't remember laughing too much this last episode though. I mean, the avocado one kind of got me just because they were like, "We're gonna share one avocado," and they pull out this big ass avocado. So
It's like, of course, he can like be that fucking good at even
Yeah.
just growing avocados. Like,
No, I think the moment I was going to talk about, I think it was the last episode. It's like when like Jamie like starts crying in the I don't know
oh, when
the
the
foot
kid comes
locker.
in, the good one.
Yeah, because like he's always in there, like like when they're both talking, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I thought that was kind of neat.
what did you guys
Funny.
think of Rebecca getting with the mystery lover that she encountered there?
It's fine, I guess.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, like I don't know. I feel like it was just like something easy they could throw in at the end there. Like,
Of course, he's a pilot. Whatever. I mean,
He's
how
got
else
a
are we supposed
daughter.
to meet him again? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Daughter with him. Yeah, I mean, it's like sure, but I
He
kind
should've
of
left it
liked.
alone.
I think so because like I liked how that episode ended with like the openness of
Yeah.
that relationship and how it won't be resolved, I guess. But man, I
Like the
just
whole
wanted
did
Rebecca
we
and Ted.
moment, you know? Like, I don't know. I just feel like
Yeah.
that was good the way it was.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Did her psychics like visions come to be? Because I honestly couldn't tell you if I tracked it well enough.
I
Like,
think so, but like
did
I
they?
feel like the first couple, like really the only one that wasn't resolved until like the last episode was that one about the kid,
Really?
like how she would have a kid. Because I think
That's
the
not-
other ones are just like the green matchbook, and then
What did that end up meaning?
something about the Shitan Nining armor, and that came
Right.
up in like the second episode. And then I don't think there was anything else other than her saying that she would have a kid.
I was just curious. I don't know. I didn't know. I just
I
wanted
might
to
have bitched
why
about
didn't they
that in
do
the
it? I don't
previous
know.
episode, but yeah, like it's
Yeah.
kind of I don't know,
You didn't-
kind of dumb.
I didn't realize her mom was also the Roy's
She's just bouncing
Roy's
around.
mom. Yeah.
Yeah, she's in
The Roy
Silo
family
too.
mom.
Mhm.
Oh, is she?
Wow, yeah, because I was just gonna say I saw her in something else recently too.
And Silo
Yeah.
is like some weird gardening holder. I mean, she's good. I mean, she plays the role well, I guess.
Man, oh, we should have talked about that. Like, because I watched the latest episode, and well, I guess really the only thing I have to say about it is like,
it's getting boring.
I was gonna say I don't think Common is a good actor.
No, I think I enjoy watching him more than most of the people on the show, honestly.
Okay, yeah, I
Just
can
because I think his
respect that.
character is a little more unique. But
Yeah.
no, I
Anyway,
get it.
sorry, I didn't mean to derail us again. Like,
I guess
I
anyone
guess
have
like
other final comments
yeah,
on Ted Lasso as a whole? What do you guys think
Did it land the plane for
overall?
you guys?
It did land the plane. I wouldn't say like the last hour of the flight was very bumpy and kind of soured me on the journey, but I still landed. I'm happy about it. So
Yeah. All right. Well,
I don't know,
like
man. Yeah. I don't know if I'll
yeah.
like. It's a show that I'd love to rewatch, but like, I'd probably rewatch like the first season
I
or
was
two.
just gonna
You
say,
know, like, yeah.
fair.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me, like the whole half of the last episode, I was just like questioning if there was going to be a spin-off. So like I feel like just for that fact, because I was like questioning if it, is but like I bet these characters are gonna like continue on. So like I feel like just because of that, the plane didn't feel like it landed for me, I guess. But like I guess like Ted, it was I don't know, it was about Ted. Ted went home at least. I don't know, had
He landed in
resolution
his
to his
plane.
story,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess in Ted, like relative to Ted, yeah, I feel like it did land. Relative to everybody else, I
Not so
don't think
much.
so. Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Alex?
did it land? I mean, I guess you can call it that. I mean, based off what we've discussed in the past with Ted getting back with his wife, it just felt kind of like not rewarding. Because,
Yeah.
like at the beginning of the episode, I thought, oh wow, they actually followed through with something when him and Rebecca,
Right.
alluded to that. Like the
Already.
one thing they finally followed through, and then it just was just a big old slap in the face. Like, gotcha, guys, you
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah, it's literally
Um,
fucking with you. Like it's like,
Yeah.
do you not like us anymore?
Like one of you said, like they were just trying to like subvert your expectations, and I
Yeah.
feel like it was kind of that. Like I think it was you, Matt, who said like, um, I don't know, people just like the audience just got like too comfortable with what they were doing. I mean, like I feel like it was that. Like they took the first two seasons and just tried to subvert your expectations based on what they previously did.
right.
And
Yeah.
And
I feel like
is
that
it
was kind of shitty. Like
was
Yeah,
you
just
it's
should
like
have
was
why
just
did you
done
just
what
try
made the
to
show good. Like
why'd you
yeah.
swerve so hard? I don't know.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
mean, it just felt like they. I don't know if self-aware is the right word or like meta. It's like they were like, "We got you guys." See what we did
Mhm.
here. So no, I don't think it necessarily landed it. I think we hit the ground. I guess.
No landing gear, just slid
Yeah.
into the
Just
fucking.
skidded in. Yeah.
Uh, that's fair.
It could land in the spin-offs.
New takeoff.
If
I
it,
don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
I will say, I just want to.
Unless
Maybe
they
it didn't
blow up
land
on
it
the history. I don't know. Never mind.
on takeoff and
Failure,
never
failure to
Yeah.
took this
launch.
flight.
Yeah.
It didn't land it fully, or the last seasons weren't, up to the magic that it set initially. But like, I just want to give it the credit that show deserves again, because that was a character that was a fucking ESPN joke. Like literally, that's how the character was created.
Yeah.
And to see even what they accomplished in this whole journey of the show, that's amazing to me on just the level of like creativity, and like there's so much heart in the show throughout still. And to have that come from like a fucking Jason Sudeikis like joke, I don't know. That's how you mind things correctly, in my opinion. So good job. Just it was a great show for
I
me.
agree with that.
Yeah. They took it, they ran with it. And I think it
Yeah.
was obviously more better than bad. There's a lot
Mhm.
of good shit. So.
For sure.
And
For
like,
sure.
yeah, like I don't know, it's just such a creative idea for a story, like based on like what people have been doing nowadays, where they're just like milking the fuck out of franchises.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had a good premise and they went with it, and
Mhm.
they achieved a lot. So
Yeah.
good job, Ted Lasso, and
Good on you.
see what this cast and crew like shrinking. I want to see that one. I want to see kind of what these guys have to do next a little bit here too. So
I saw Jenna Ortega. She was talking to some interview person, and they asked her what she's been watching, and she said she just recently binged Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. And she said once she finished Better Call Saul, it just kind of soured her to TV, and that's how I felt before going into all these shows again. I hadn't really watched TV since Better Call Saul ended, and I don't know. I guess I'm still preaching on that one, but yeah, Ted Lasso didn't
they're still
land.
great quality.
There is. It's just in terms
We
of
should.
landing a series. I know it's a hard thing to do,
It's,
but it's
Mhm.
possible if you know what direction you want to go in. Especially with if you're going to be character focused and character like driven stories, I don't know. You just got to care for them and actually follow through with things and not just be like, "Got you guys. It was funny because you thought this happened, but it didn't." Haha. You know
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
not the type of stuff I
Or
enjoy.
it's
I
just like a
like
guessing game.
right, and it's just
Yeah.
like fucking with you. But yeah, okay, it's funny sometimes, but when you do it to every character, it's
Yeah.
just like
It's like
I
give us
don't
a
know.
little bit of closure,
How am I supposed
please.
to enjoy these characters fully if you're just gonna fuck with us the whole time with them? It makes them it undercuts what they've accomplished and what they do. So
Yeah.
For sure.
Well,
No,
I
I
mean, I can
agree.
lead into our other chats, honestly, because a lot of these, I'm curious what we think on some other of these finales, too,
Yeah.
because
Well,
I've
I was
been
just gonna
waiting
say
for the
you want to
Succession
go with the
one.
second best. Oh, okay. Because that's what I was gonna say. Succession is my second favorite
Yeah,
of the three, in my opinion.
same.
But
I was
that's just
like
me.
Trojan horse Barry. I was like, fuck
Yeah.
yeah, holy shit.
Mhm.
I
But
don't know.
no, yeah, I
Maybe you
did.
guys don't agree because I understand. Because I don't know. Succession was pretty good. I feel like, in my opinion. But
Yeah,
well, until I don't know.
do you guys want to talk Barry first?
I don't care. I'm good with whichever.
yeah. Either one, I'm cool
I'm
with.
fine with. I'll do either.
I just want to save Succession for last because I feel like that's got the most buzz and it's the most impactful at the moment. But
Okay,
Oh,
yeah,
I don't know.
let's do it.
Okay.
Barry.
jump into Barry.
I think
Yeah.
first off, since I caught up, I was at season 3 when I started when we last chatted. I think season 3 was a big old nothing burger. I don't know. Nothing
Yeah,
fucking
I
happened
agree.
Yeah,
that season.
Mhm.
Really
yeah,
nothing. Like other
I
than him
mean,
going to prison.
right, but
Yeah.
it was just so weird because it's like with Sally's character, I don't know if we're supposed to like her or hate her, but it makes her seem like she's a good person, but she's not a good person, which I guess is fine. But like Barry just goes into this like baby mode for all of season 3, and it's just like I get that he's going through some trauma and stuff, but I don't know. We never get to see Barry do cool shit because it's always like something happens to where it doesn't. I don't know, land in Barry's lap. But season 3. That's how it felt. It was just like Barry's character was just like receded into baby Barry, and it just kind of some of the things he decided was just weird to me. But season 4
Get that.
was better.
Yeah. I feel the same. Like, season 2, I enjoyed, but I kind of felt like I didn't really know what the show was about or kind of like going
Yeah.
towards. And
Yeah.
then season 3, I was like, okay, I kind of see where we're going here, but like it still had like the taste in my mouth of it a little bit.
Yeah.
And then season 4, I thought was like, I don't know, it was very good. I thought season 4, it like kicked it into another gear and didn't slow down, and like just like Bill Hader, I think, had a vision for how he wanted to end it. Maybe he didn't have the middle part visioned out, like
I
2 and
read,
3,
I don't
but
know, because there was a lot of time in between the second and third seasons.
mm,
I had heard that he did like a bunch of like rewrites or
He
rewrote
did.
like the whole
Yeah.
fucking show. Yeah,
right.
you might have one of you might have said that
Yeah.
in like a previous episode.
Yeah,
Hey,
and he directed all the episodes in season 4. Like
yeah.
at a certain point, like it's hard to question if like a writer's room or like multiple eyes I'm directing and writing is good, because I think that is good. It brings perspectives, but when you have someone that has an ultimate vision like Bill Hader does and can direct all 8 episodes as successfully as he did, it's like hard to argue with the results of what one person can do also too. So it's like I don't know. I think that's what a struggle in the writing industry is right now. Is like they with this new strike and stuff, they want to like force writers into a room, which I agree with on most every occasion. But I also think that there's special circumstances where you don't need to force writers because now they're just going to convolute things.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Barry's like a weird sweet spot for me of like they started with multiple ideas in Alec Berg and Bill Hader, and then Bill Hader kind of just took the wheel and drove it off the cliff. I mean,
Yeah.
and in a great way. So like
Mhm.
I don't know. I was just curious about that.
Yeah, no, I think season 4 really, I mean, it picked it up better than season 3 did. It just felt like since he I was talking to a coworker about how the last season it's all written and directed by Bill, and it feels so much more cohesive and like that one idea
Yeah,
that he wanted. It was his baby coming to fruition, and it felt right. Rather than season 3 was kind of like I don't know, something was off about
yeah.
it. But then into season
Stagnation.
4, but honestly, one of the lowest rated episodes was when after he gets to Sally and she says let's get out of here. I think from the episode after that on was like the best part of season 4. I just felt like,
For sure.
yeah,
It totally changed the show, you know,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and I'm glad that Bill Hader wasn't afraid to take hard turns like that,
right.
you know, because like it's clearly he needed to go there, because I think what 2 and 3 was suffering was like Barry was doing the same things, but like
Right.
not. And this isn't. I guess we'll go into it later, but this isn't a character that really can change. I'd say, as much as he wants to, he just can't. And like that's hard in the middle of a show, you know.
I
So
feel like you
Yeah.
saw him like spiral more, but I feel like the only
Mhm.
times you really saw that were in like kind of in season 3 and more so in season 4.
I
Yeah.
I
mean,
don't know.
yeah,
Spiraling into like I don't know, you know that he's actually like fucking crazy or not
he's
a
losing.
good
And he can't
person. Like
rest.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean,
He just like
his,
rationalizes things. In like you know in the last half of this season, he just like rationalized based on God or used God
yeah,
as an excuse
Yeah.
to be a bad person until he like basically had to do the right thing, I guess. But
Yeah.
he still like I don't know.
Yeah, it was fun listening to him, like, or fun watching him listen to all the podcasts of like, "Thou shalt
Evil
not kill,"
ones.
but yeah, yeah,
You have the
like,
billboard one.
sometimes killing is justified. Pause. Okay, that's all I needed.
yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
it
it's
was.
just like the way that he has to like rationalize his own like life is crazy. I mean, that's
Mhm.
yeah, but yeah, we're using
I was just gonna mention too that like Fuchs's journey was one that I was like, this is sick for this character, because like
Yeah.
the whole time it's like, is this guy good or bad for Barry? Like, you know, where does his motivations and like his kind of like the heart of his character truly lie? And then yeah, you get a little insight into that, and
and
you
with
like,
no
yeah, embraces the Raven, but like it did it so well because the whole time I'm thinking like this guy, like he still loves Barry. Like I think that's what we got from like that flashback of like when he's meeting Barry and stuff for the first time. It's
Yeah.
like that mentor father son kind of
I feel like
feel
that did
to it.
two things too. Like I feel like it did that, and then I feel
Mhm.
like it also just showed what Barry was like growing, like what it was like for Barry growing up,
yeah,
and
like
Yeah.
how
this
that like
started at a
reflected
young
on his
age for
son too.
Barry.
You know, like
It's
I don't
not
know.
just like what he went through in the war and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Barry's a very flawed character throughout, I'd say, just in general.
Mhm.
I was first
But
off,
yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Sue. You could finish your thought if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Noah. I didn't.
Oh no, that was basically I just wanted to touch on that because I thought his
on
journey
your
was great.
on your Fugues thing. Which one when he was watching Rain Man and he said that's us? Who is he? Tom Cruise or is he
That's
Hoffman?
yeah.
I don't know.
I think he saw himself as Tom Cruise,
Yeah.
but you know, room for interpretation there. Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was a great moment too. That and like the two kind of like cronies he
Yeah.
gains respect with. That was good. Yeah.
What I
No, yeah.
really liked about like when the switch happened to them being on the lam and he's focusing on Lincoln and Lincoln's this thing and and he's
Mhm.
talking about legacies or something like that. And I don't know, it just tied in so nicely with the final scene of the movie to where you build up this idea of what these people are and what these heroes are, but
Yeah.
you don't see their flaws because of what they're built up to be, which I thought was really well. That's why I really like those last 3 episodes. Those are just so well strung together, and
Mhm.
the points they needed to hit were hit. And like with Sally's character, it was finally like she is a shit person and she only cares about herself, and it just feels like it's never recognized until finally her son is just finally like, I don't really want to stay with mom, I want you, dad. And it's just like finally somebody realizes that she's not a good person, and down to the last
Mhm.
scene that she's in and she's like, was it good? She still only cares about
Yeah, what she
herself.
cares.
Yeah.
And I guess that ties in again with the kid, and I guess the people that mold you, your parents mold you what you are, and
Yeah.
So how do you
No,
feel about him, like John watching that movie at the end, then, and like how fucked up the facts were?
oh
Because I
no,
mean, like
oh
obviously
yeah.
he's gonna think his dad was a hero,
right, but that's what he
you
built
know,
his
and like
dad
that's
up
kind of
to
already what
be.
he, yeah, yeah.
Right,
Right,
right.
and so it just
Yeah,
ties
that
in
movie
with the
did for me.
Lincoln story when Barry is like gets the Lincoln book and he's like, yeah, I found all this stuff about Lincoln that's kind of bad, and I didn't know all that stuff. So it's kind
Oh
of like
yeah.
as his
Yeah,
son goes through life, I think he's going to uncover
get
the
these
truth
little
a little bit at
glimpses.
a time. But
Mhm.
for right
Yeah.
now, this is
Probably.
what he needs to see his dad as because he's developing. So
No, it was a
uh,
great, yeah, to that point, it was like a great lesson I felt like this last season of like one, how well do you really know someone, and two, like you only know someone from your perspective, kind of, right?
Yeah.
Because it was like Barry was freaking out when like Gene came out of the woods and was like, I can't, like he's gonna tell his side of the story, and that side of the story is wrong, you know. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
Barry, you're fucking murdering people, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah, but no, those were like two main takeaways I took away from that scene. Was like, damn, dude, like there's sides to every story, and like you can't, like the whole truth, like the truth is just what's presented to you. That's probably not the whole truth.
Yeah.
You
The
know?
way you cope with shit is kind of
Mhm.
fucked up. That's kind of what I got
Yeah.
from like the whole show. You know, it's like the way that we need to like cope. It's like very personal. It's very internal, and no one else can feel it, and it's kind of fucked up. That's kind of like what I think Bill
Mhm.
Hader is like
Yeah.
saying. I mean, Barry's obviously super fucked up, like a sociopathic character, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. I thought the son seeing that like emphasized that point at the end there, like really
Right.
nicely. I know. So I saw somebody say that like they wanted to end with Sally, and I can understand that because she's like the most impacted character physically from Barry, kind of. But the fact that it ends on like the son brings it more of like what who this character impacted, and more about what the whole message of the show means to me. And I think
Mhm.
that's very successful to me the way it ended. So.
For sure.
And I
Yeah.
liked Sally's line about how it was good, right? And you liked it? Like, I mean, that was just Bill Hader talking to us, you know, like about the show at
Yeah.
the end. So
Because I mean,
it was
it
nice.
was perfectly set up when Gene shoots him. He goes, "Oh wow!" And then it cuts to like the stage
And
setting, and then
applause.
yeah. So it
Yeah.
was a perfect sequence into that. Yeah,
Right.
I get that. I just don't like Sally's character. I think she's a
No,
Mhm.
I
bad
think she's
person.
meant to be. And I mean, he says, love you,
Yeah.
mom, and she doesn't reciprocate it. Like, it's
Yeah.
like
That's why I
but I
don't
think that's
understand
what,
why Barry wanted to be with her so bad all through season
uh,
3. It's like, are you that desperate? Go to Fuchs. He'll probably show you more love than anybody. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a good window into Sally's character when she like went home a little bit, because it was like, basically like uh, zero relationship with her mom,
Yeah.
and her dad's kind of like the pushover, like kind of like safe space, but like still doesn't do a whole lot to like help her, you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I thought that was good because it was just like you get a little taste of where she came from. That's what this season did so well too. It was just like it really like kind of chills it away and like dug into these characters a lot. Yeah, I don't know. I really enjoyed this. This show is like, it's like I felt like the trajectory was just like fucking up the stakes, up the ante, and then like go out firing on all cylinders. So
For sure.
yeah,
The last, like you said, Alex, those last 3 episodes, but the one before this finale, I said they just had all the pieces and they threw them up in the air, and we have to like wait to see where they land in the finale, and that's what it felt like. They just like went for it,
Yeah.
and they were not letting you like get on board until like it was the end. You know,
Mhm.
it's so
And-
good.
Was. Yeah, those last 3 episodes, I think, I don't know, that solidified it to where this is a more successful landing of the plane, if you ask me, just because
Mhm.
I don't know. I guess when I was going into it, I was checking the episodes and I saw that one when the switch happens to on the lamb, it was just so people just didn't like it. I don't understand why. I mean, they were like, it skipped all this cool stuff we could have seen. It's like, yeah, but do you need to
It's
see
got the
everything?
point. Yeah.
You
Right.
know,
You
I
kind of
mean,
know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
we got to where we needed to get to, and now we can flesh these characters out. The characters that matter. I don't know. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
for
man.
sure. I thought like a big highlight about this last finale specifically that I came to was they're like getting Fuchs shows up, he knows the kid's there, and it's like basically standard gunfight setup now where it's like guns are drawn, we got the wife and kid, you know, it's like, and to me I was like, how are they gonna make this, how are they gonna get out of this, but also how are they gonna make this Barry, you know, like,
Yeah.
because like how do you make a unique gunfight now? And I was like thinking about like what you would do, and I think they did a pretty good job of like making these moments unique and impactful.
Yeah,
um
man. That
the
like it
gunfight,
emulated war. Like when there's people like you're
oh yeah,
you're
I mean it's
showing all the different like wounds, and then like
yeah,
they're all crying out in pain, and
like
oh
John,
shit.
yeah.
Mhm.
But like the way it's like over instantly, almost the gunfight's just done. Like, and it's like
Mhm.
nothing like graceful, nothing like. I mean, the one moment is like that's the Barry flair there with the grenade throw. You know, like
Yeah.
that's like hell yeah, that's Barry right there. But they did it like Fuchs. I mean, the reversal of that character, his intentions, I think maybe were a big highlight of that sequence because, like you said, you don't know if this guy's good. You don't know what change he's really gone through after prison and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
to see him walk his son out, I thought was that moment really got me. I thought we were like Barry's coming in guns blazing. He's fucking ready, and we're ready. We're like hell yeah, Barry's got the guns. Like,
Yeah.
and then his kid, he just like his kid runs over. It's done. Fuchs is like the bigger man, gives him like a really great nod. I thought Stephen Root just killed that character throughout the
For
show,
sure.
but and just retreats into the darkness like the little scurvy like dude he is. Like it's like
Yeah.
I don't know. That was a really cool character, and that moment just flipped all expectation so beautifully. It was great.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The only like clue to that, which I think like it sets it up so perfectly, is because it's like you're wondering like why the hell he's keeping his mouth shut when he's getting beaten to shit, and it's like that was the only moment that tipped me off where I was like, okay, he's doing this for Barry still,
He
like
cares.
like he's yeah. So
And then when he sees like his kid, when he's sitting in the tub at the beginning of the finale, he's like, is that his kid?" And instantly he's like, "I'm coming over." And like you're like, and then you see his shot of him in the truck with just like demon eyes, like shadowy, like it's a fucking great shot. But then it's like leading you down that road of like the Fuchs we know, and then
Yeah.
delivers a beautiful like, no, he's not that guy anymore. Or like it's like he really did care about Barry.
he's
So,
like
Definitely.
he's using that Raven. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
That's why I'm like, why did Barry fixate on Sally for so long? Fuchs clearly. I mean, yeah,
I
they
mean, Fuchs
lashed out
fucked
at
him
each
up.
other. Yeah,
Mm.
but at the end of the day, they are Tom Cruise and Dustin Hoffman. They care for each other. It's a complicated relationship, but no,
One of them's
Yeah.
they'll
one of
take
them's
care
a
of
little
each other.
simple. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
What'd you guys think of the NoHo Hank death and moments that he
That's pretty good. I think he's a pretty like I don't know, you kind of
That was
understand
acting,
him.
guys.
Yeah, for real.
I was in a similar vein. I thought like his death scene was because it's like as an actor, it's like okay, you got your death scene, and it's like you have to do something that we haven't seen, kind of like, or at least that's what I would think is like you have to make it something different. And like the fear that he brought in that moment was something that I thought was like special.
Yeah.
Like he was scared. Like, you could like tell in like death, and I mean obviously the image of him holding Cristobal's hand I thought was a really smart image and powerful and for that character's journey. And I mean, NoHo Hank is what sold a lot of the love of the show or like originality of the show for me. And I really appreciate Bill Hader's like intention for that character or like the amount of love and story he gave him, honestly, is
Yeah,
pretty special to the show. So.
definitely.
Yeah.
I was like, they shoot the rocket at the house and they miss. He's like, all right, get another one. He's like, we don't have another one.
Yeah,
You think we were
trying to cut
gonna
down on
make it on the
budget.
first shot?
It's like not like the stuff with this.
That and the scene where he comes out of the old lady's house and he has the coke. He's like, take this. I don't want this.
Dude, but like, I mean, this is the first time we talked about the show on the podcast, so like we didn't get to talk about like episode 4 when Cristobal actually dies, or
Oh,
like just
yeah.
like the whole sequence of like them getting like Hank is so scared because Barry okay, all we know as viewers is that Barry got out of prison, and you think that Hank is afraid because he knows that Barry's coming after him. But actually, he's afraid because he knows like the rest of the fucking Chechens are gonna like
Yeah.
blow up his fucking operation. I don't know. I just feel like it was like a good, I don't know, kind of like twist. I guess I don't know
Yeah.
because like, yeah, because you
Good
kind of don't
foil.
really know that it's coming. But I don't know. As far as like Cristobal goes, like I don't blame him. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
Talk about a fight that you can't like just walk away from there and that's like with NoHo when he's like just begging him like, please don't, just don't leave because he knows what's gonna happen. So it's just interesting that you can't just walk away from the fight and come back later and hopefully cool off. Is like you walk away, we're done.
Yeah. You get the sense
So-
that like that's probably happened. Yeah, he's just used to it. Like
Yeah.
like but it still hurts. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's like, I mean, obviously his biggest regret, I'd say, towards the
Yeah.
end there was that
Mhm.
moment. But yeah, I mean the way that Fuchs and him have the like face off of like emotions too, I thought was really good.
Yeah.
And then the Fuchs gives a line of a man with no heart, which clearly is wrong because he does. You know, it's like,
Right.
but
I think
I don't
that's
know.
what made that metaphor of like the raven. Like I meant like he's using that. You know, that's like the face that he has to put on or the identity he
Yeah.
has to put on. But it's clearly, yeah, it subverts you because it's like it's just a tool more so for him now. I mean, he realizes like it's just like, it's just I can use this and I'm still gonna be the guy I know I am. Still gonna fight for Barry. So
Yeah. I mean, similar vein of what I've already said, but the death scene for Barry was a very subvert, and like that's what we just bitched at Ted for. It was like, don't subvert all this shit, but they're subverting moments or like
Look, it's not
audience
when you do it for
expectations.
everybody. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
when you do it too much, it like loses its meaning. But if you do it every once in a while and sprinkle it in, I feel like
Yeah.
that's like just the right amount. Like
Yeah.
do it
I
right.
think what is like successful about it for Barry is like it's playing on which Ted is it also, but it's like negatively subverting it, where it's like Barry knows what the shootout is, it knows like what the death scene is, it knows that Barry has to die, you know, to like really fulfill his story, honestly, because to me the only way that that character's done is like through death. Like that's the only way to fulfill like his journey because he can't change or he can't fix it, you know. But
Yeah, that like
just
moment of surprise on him, like when he like takes that,
good,
it's
dude. Yeah.
just like that is how.
Oh wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's just classic Bill Hader like delivery of like, and then the cut to black after that, which is like a little bit extended for most cuts that you would have, was like so genius to me. I was like, that's Barry blacked out and he is gone now, and like that's what Barry's experienced, you know, like, and Barry's story is done, and that's just so cut and dry and dark and like I don't know. I mean, that's what Barry is too. It's like there's a lot of like harshly dark moments, but
Yeah.
that moment was just
Oh wow.
Little flex of light.
oh wow.
I
And
don't
then
know. What did you guys? I don't know. I couldn't find meaning, but I knew there was something there when Fuchs dives on Barry's kid and like starts escorting him out, and Sally's just kind of like kind of calling out for him. I don't know. I was like, I know there was a character moment, but I didn't. I didn't know. Did you guys pull anything from that? Because I was like, it's saying something
For
about
Sally?
her. Yeah,
I
it's
don't
saying
know.
something
Fuchs
about her.
actually cares about her, and Sally
Mhm.
just cares about herself.
Yeah.
Or like
Well,
didn't
she's
actually
calling
care
out for
about her. Was
Tom.
blind to actually caring about him, maybe because like I don't know. She
Yeah.
just like
She's
she
not
couldn't
really
see. I'm
trying.
assuming that had to do with the grenade, but like the
Mhm.
dude got his arm blown off, so I didn't think it was a flashbang. I don't know.
I can't see
Yeah.
I was just
Yeah,
curious.
I think it's like Sally cares about her kid. I think the scene where she's like revealing everything about how they're murderers, how like they're
Yeah.
shit people, but like John's not. There's a shred of care, but like that scene shows that it's not really extending past like discomfort for her. You know, it's like
Mhm.
she has to try harder to find John right now in the situation. She's not gonna. She's gonna stay behind the pole. You know, like it's like.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree.
Totally
She's not a
agree.
very great character, but
Self-preservation. Yeah. No, I thought that moment, I tried to pull something from, but the big moment I really got from her was when she's kind of like she's like tripping. You know, she's like in the house and like
Yeah,
shit's. I thought that
I
was like
didn't really
a lot
know
of
like what was up with that. I thought it was just
yeah.
because like she was just I don't know
crazy.
like yeah
No,
going fucking crazy.
I loved like the shadow that she felt behind her. You
Yeah.
know,
Like
like
this
that.
fucking person following her.
Yeah, I was like that is nice metaphorically,
Like I'm
and
just like, what is going on right now?
yeah,
Like
yeah. No, I got the what I pulled like was I thought I pulled from it was like obviously the guilt she's dealing with, but like also like just the weird I don't know like the anxiety of it, the guilt that she's holding on to. It's like that gave me a moment of like, oh man, she's a shit person, but like everybody in the show, she's dealing with her own fucking shit. Like everyone's dealing with that. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Good
I
stuff.
think like the fact that there's no like solid answer for Barry as like a how do you fix like a person like that also is very darkly truthful in a sense, you know, like and with Sally with all these people, it's like they're all coping in their own fucked up ways and it's like that's not really gonna change. Like humans are all kind of shitty and struggling and they make up things to make the like life easier, you know, and
Mhm.
violence. I mean, that's like, is that what you guys took from like, what do you think Barry is like about? You know, it's like, because violence sucks. Violence like will destroy you. Like, and it's like there's nothing you can do about it. You know, I don't know. It's very it's like a bleak show overall, but it's such a
For sure.
good show.
Yeah.
For sure.
I don't know. I don't know. I think the biggest part for me was probably just Barry's upbringing in some rural place. Because, like, I don't know, I mean, we grew up in fucking cornfields. I mean, you see a lot of people like that. So, I mean, and in my opinion, a lot of them are kind of fucked up. So, I mean, like, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to kill them, and I don't think they should die, but I mean,
Us
yeah, I don't know.
corn-feds aren't that bad.
I guess
eh?
like if you're like if you think the meaning of the show was that like there's nothing you can do about those people and that they should die. I mean, like I kind of agree that I feel like that is what you should get from the show, but I also don't agree with that statement. You know what I mean?
Right. You should
Yeah.
seek out a way to try and fix yourself. Going back to said, it's like if you're working towards a better self, like that's
Yeah, like it's
fine,
really up to each individual person if they want to change. Like,
Mhm.
For sure. I mean, and that's what makes Barry an unchanging guy is like he does change kind of at the end because this scene really reflected like his darkest moment, which to me was when he killed his best friend Chris in the car.
Great episode. Yes.
But that's like the lowest Barry could ever be, you know. And like when he comes to see Gene in the finale and the dude's there, there's a moment of like Barry, you should just turn, you know. And then like you see like wheels turning in him, like. Do I have to kill this guy? Is what I was thinking. You know, it's like, am I gonna do the same shit I've always been doing? And like, because he kind of just always does it. He always makes the wrong decision,
you know,
and then
I
finally,
feel like
in
for
the last
me,
moment,
there's like kind of almost a connection between those two speeches. Well, I don't count Shiv's. I count the two like Ken's and Ewan's speech from Logan's funeral because Ewan is talking about how like specifically the line how like you keep your hearth warm while another's goes cold. And I mean like it's really just like if you're out for yourself or if you're going to help other people.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because like these characters like Sally, Barry, like Gene Cousineau, they're all just in it for themselves.
Right.
Like they're all just
Yeah.
motivated by what's gonna help them
Right.
out, you know?
for sure.
Yeah, man. Like, Gene. Like when Gene's, you're like, oh, he's turned over. You know, he's turned a new leaf, and it's like, oh, but we can get Daniel Day-Lewis up in this, and it's like, wait, really?
Yeah.
Like,
That's the one thing that
Come out of retirement to play you.
yeah,
yeah,
Mark Wahlberg.
yeah. It's like, oh, okay, this is still, this is.
He hasn't changed that much. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, do you guys think he deserves his fate by the end of it too? I mean, it's
Gene?
obviously like Gene, and then it's like roped in with Barry, I guess too. You know.
I don't know. I mean like I feel like Sally is just as culpable as Gene. Like Gene really didn't do too much wrong other than just like taking the money and
Yeah.
letting it kind of go, like and not pursuing it any longer, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think like
But-
the original sin. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I don't know. I mean, like I guess if you're relating the two characters between Sally and Gene Cousineau, because I feel like they do have a lot of like overlap between who they are as people. I mean, like Sally straight up murdered a dude, and she didn't get any comeuppance. Like,
It's true.
Mhm.
It's true. Yeah, I guess like the original sin that like makes it like I'm okay with Gene, you know, accepting the life in prison fate. I guess is that when you meet him at the beginning of the show, he's like straight up just using people, and like he uses Barry. So like he kind of instigates some of what goes on. That I mean, obviously, like that's what ends up becoming the whole story because he's like pushing Barry to use like his pain, you know, for acting and shit like that, and that's like unconsciously Barry's using that in the wrong way. He didn't know that, but like I don't know. It's like he's not a good guy. He's a pretty selfish guy. He's been that way his whole life, it seems like, and now he's paying the price for it in a way. You know, it's not like the greatest way of like paying that price, but he pulled the trigger on Barry. He's made his decisions. You know, so
oh, I guess he did straight up murder a dude too.
yes, I mean, at the end, yeah,
No, yeah, I thought that came through a lot when Sally's trying to like teach the class too. And
Yeah,
it's like, and they're like,
it's a complete
you know,
opposite. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's like they're like, whoa, that was straight up abusive, man. Like, I was like, oh, shit, yeah, kind of was.
yeah. Man, what a great show! Another finale, man, and I'm extremely excited to see what Bill Hader has up his sleeve next.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm
Yeah, 'cause, like,
curious, man.
Didn't
this
I read
would,
he's got
like-
a couple movies.
Is
Like
he?
hell yeah.
a horror movie or something. So
I'm down for it.
I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Down for something.
because like I don't know, this role or this show like is not like I don't know what I would say would be his brand based on like what I've seen him do before.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like I like that he's branching out because this was good in my opinion. So I mean like
Oh, yeah.
I'm yeah.
He's a very like.
I guess
I've
I just
listened to.
explained why I'm curious to see like the rest
There
of
you
his shit.
He's from like interviews I've listened to him recently talk about. He's like a very director oriented mindset. Like he loves making the movie and thinking about movies. So like that's exciting to see kind of him transition into a new career trajectory for me. Like
Yeah.
I like to see his full vision on the screen. It's like Jordan Peele gets this leeway. Some people like have these distinct visions, and I'm on board for it. So
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Comedians,
What we need.
dude. It's like when they
well-rounded.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe let's just see what John Mulaney can do next.
Hey,
Oh,
there you
shit.
go.
Yeah.
There you go. Actually, in the roundtable, he does say that he wants to make something on par with like Searching for Bobby Fischer. If you've ever seen that movie,
Hmm.
that's the one he named. It's like a guy about. It's like a chess movie where it's just kind of like a wholesome. That's a good movie. Actually, I need to rewatch one. But it's like about like pushing your child to like achieve stuff like
Yeah.
that. But
Mm.
so I don't know. I could see Mulaney maybe doing something in that vein too, where it's
Yeah.
like I could see him make a movie like that.
I'll look into that. I'm reading his book right now.
Oh, really?
Bobby Fischer. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. Watch the movie. It's good.
All right, you guys got anything else you want to say, or you want to move into Succession?
I'm with you there, man. I think Barry was the top show. It kind of came out of
think so,
nowhere.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
it really
good.
kind of came out of nowhere. Like I was
Yeah.
not the one I was expecting to be my favorite of the three.
Yeah.
I
Same.
was a little worried after season 3, but season 4 pulled it together. I
Mhm.
think it's just because Bill Hader kind of just took the reins and was like, "All right, you bitches, watch."
Cut out that and let's just
Probably,
go.
yeah.
Mhm.
So
Super good bit. I have one last note on the season 4 was when there's all the heads in the boxes in a row. That was like one of my
Why am I
favorite
still opening these?
Why am I
Yeah.
still opening these boxes? Yeah, that was just great
Even-
Barry moments that I'm
I was
gonna miss.
really hoping. I was like, just pull a head out. Pull like the last one. Just be like, it's a fucking
Well,
head.
I forget the guy's name, but he's like, oh, even in death.
Yeah.
even in
He's
death,
still
he's a
beautiful.
fucking fox.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good shit, man.
Yeah.
Well,
Alright,
shall
here
we
we
move
go.
on to the finale of the
Yeah.
finale talk? Long anticipated, a lot of hype built up for it. But what did you guys think of Succession? Overall, the finale, and just, I guess, first thoughts.
I was pretty satisfied, to be honest. I was
Yeah.
kind of, yeah.
Well, excluding, I wanted Ken to just jump off the fucking back off that ledge. But yeah, other than that, like,
I thought it was funny
I
that they were like talking about kill, like, yeah, we decided we talked about we're gonna kill you, and like, we were talking like someone's got to die, right? Like at the end of this for like shit to kind of tie up.
yeah,
What
I did like that.
do you think, Alex, as a Kindle boy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, I was
definitely a
with both.
Kenny head, but I saw this picture and it was Shiv's character throughout the show, and it starts in the top of the circle. I think I'm smarter than everyone. I scheme. Scheme blows in my face. I need my family. And it just keeps going in that circle. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm satisfied with how it ended because it just feels like I was all over the place. I know that they're always all over the place and they just do what benefits them, but the last minute decisions after they just had this nice family moment and then Shiv's like, "Oh, it disgusts me," but really you just know she's thinking, "Oh, I got to stick it, I have the only bloodline." And but like the thing with that is
Kendall
that
saying he's
Madsen,
the oldest.
yeah, I'm the oldest boy. But the thing with Matson choosing Tom is just so fucking strange to me because he didn't
It's kinda
even
weird.
like Tom and never really spoke to Tom. But just because he wants to fuck Shiv, he's gonna pick. I don't know. I didn't enjoy that. I don't think Tom being chosen was the way, but it is what it is, I guess. So
Like,
I
I feel
feel
like
like what?
Yeah, go. No, I have a question for Noah because you were like a Kendall.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Why do you think you're fulfilled and not like Alex? When Kendall didn't win it.
I don't know. I think it just like felt I was okay with it because I don't know. Kendall's he kind of was like the star child, for most of it. At least that's the vibe I got, especially like where we started. It's like, he's the Roy boy, he's Logan's, 7 years old, told me I was going to get it. He revealed kind of to us. But it just
The
felt,
Candy Kitchen or whatever.
yeah, it just felt right. And especially after, like, I think what this finale did for me was like the family moment. Like, that was kind of like the win, right? I thought, because it was like, oh, you know.
So definitely like the high of like
Mhm.
the episode and like their sibling emotions, I'd say.
Yeah, so it didn't feel totally wrong to me when it was like when shit kind of fell apart at the end, because it's like, you know, they're back in this business world where, you know, shit doesn't really make sense because it's all backstabbing, it's all fucking,
Yeah.
you know, people trying to vie for the top. So, and I think it just was good for the kids, you know, the whole time it's like they're talking about how Logan didn't even really like his kids. So it just felt right to me that like none of them got it. You know, it was just like, including Ken. As much as I wanted Ken to have it, because I thought
That's pretty
it would
much
just,
like what I was thinking too. Because like
Yeah.
I don't know, like the kids didn't like it's like their inheritance, but like I mean, none of them did anything to deserve it. They were just born.
Yeah.
I mean, like even if it is like essentially Fox News, but I mean, like
Mhm.
Tom, I agree, like was kind of a weird character decision for Matson. But like I don't know, I
Greg
kind of
is a
like
better character decision for Matson to pick because they've been
Who?
like Greg,
Greg?
because he's been fucking with Matson like these past like 3 episodes, hanging out with him. They like Greg, but he chooses Tom.
Mhm.
I think what makes Tom work for me is that he is the safest pick. Like,
I mean, look, I wanted Tom to be the successor, but like I feel like it was kind of out of nowhere, you know,
It
like
was.
well,
Yeah.
Shiv set it up. I mean, I agree. Kind of like some of these machinations of the plot, kind of like zip pretty quickly into like existence. But the legwork's there for me because he's talking to Shiv, and I rewatched the episode actually because I wanted to watch it again because it was I don't know, this episode had a pretty big impact on me as far as like meaning and like television. I was like, man, this inspires me a lot, you know. Same with Barry, honestly. So like, it just makes you want to like write shit for me. But
Right on.
Shiv sets up Tom with that conversation with Matson about like, so you're gonna sign me up as CEO, right? He's like, yeah, well, you know, I don't know. And then they talk about Tom, and Matson clearly kind of already has like some ideas going, I'd say. And Shiv says he's going to suck the biggest dick in the room, and like stuff like that. He's good. He's capable. He can do it. You know. He's kind of like he's milk toast, whatever, blah blah. But he's going to do it. And I think that's exactly what Matson needed to hear because he doesn't want Shiv. He doesn't want someone to push back. He wants someone to do what he says, and that's what Tom will
Yeah.
do. So like that's what Tom. I mean, it was like season or like episode 4 or 5 this season, where the idea of Tom becoming the top dog at the end was like totally justified for me. I was like, that's the guy. Like
know,
that makes so much sense.
because
And I came around to it at the end. Obviously, Jesse, the creator, did too. But it makes so much sense for me as narratively and character wise too.
you
So.
could kind of tell that like Tom was changed over the last like half
Yeah.
of
Colder.
the season. Yeah.
Yeah. When
Older,
Greg
more
kind of
business.
comes up and he's like, "What's plans? Like stuff in the works?" And he's just like, "Yep." There was like I think someone else like kind of pulled that. I forget who, but there was a moment where it's like someone clearly knows they're like in control and like they have knowledge. I want to say it was Kendall, but I don't think it was. But I got the same vibe from that. I was like, damn, like once you make it, dude, you don't have to do shit. You don't have to give anyone leeway. But no, to your point too, Alex, I thought Greg would have been a better choice because of like there's like the other side of the family, you know, it's like you and the uncle and nephew type thing. It would have been like a cool shift to see like, oh, it's the Roy family, but it's not really the Roy family.
Yeah,
You know,
but like I feel like Greg was more of a Roy anyway than like a
that's
descendant
fair.
of Ewan. You know,
You
like
wanted to be
Greg
at least,
changed.
yeah.
Yeah, because like
Yeah.
Uh,
That's a good point. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I would have loved to see Greg on top just as like a straight fuck you to the entire universe, but like it just wouldn't have
You know, I
like
did
made
like
any
though
business
that like
sense.
after you found like after the deal like solidified and Tom came in and his little conversation with Greg after they had the little spat.
I
I'm
have
glad
just
that
enough capital.
I'm glad that they like
They're gonna
stuck
get
together. I
decimated
don't
on
know,
it.
like
Yeah.
they're both like the outsiders. Like I feel like they have to stick together. You know, like I
That's
don't
why
know.
it works for me is like they at the beginning of the show, these are the two like underdogs. And like throughout the whole show, they've become the top dog. And because the siblings that you think are the top dogs the whole time are fucking jokes. Like, I mean, the show is so beautiful and like its balance of that, but
It really
it makes
did
sense.
do a good job of like showing that Kendall's like, I don't know, at least in it for himself, just doesn't give a fuck. He will say literally
Right,
anything.
for
Like,
sure.
oh, I didn't
Yeah.
kill that guy.
Yeah.
That that
Yeah.
conference
Yeah.
room scene was great. When he started
Yeah.
smushing Roman's face, I was like, "Get it!"
Ooh,
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
I'm just like, oh my god, dude. Like,
Yeah. You're talking about the hug or like when they're confronting each
When he
other all
grabbed his face after he's
I was
talking
like,
about how his
you
kids aren't
say?
like even
Yeah.
his, and
Yeah.
I was like, "Fuck
Mm.
yeah, this is
It
acting
gets
gold."
savage, man. Yeah, that
yeah.
whole
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically like probably the last time the siblings are gonna like talk to each other.
You know, that's what
Like
I was gonna say too. I feel like their
yeah,
family is like fractured now, and I feel like that's kind of, I don't know. I feel like that's how it kind of should be. They're all like kind of assholes. Like they don't really have anything tying them together besides this company, like
yeah,
anymore, because it was their dad, really.
yeah,
And
Yeah, poor Kendall. He loses the company, but he gets $2 billion. So what's he? Whatever is
yeah.
he going to
Boy.
do?
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like,
Right. They're all fucking billionaires by the end of this, and
yeah,
it's a
but it's
sad
the
ending.
power.
That's a
It's
sad
the
idea.
power.
It's the power.
But, I mean, he lost his life goal. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I was curious, like, I have like them all listed here, but what do you think about like each character's end, and like, what do you think like it means, and like, what do you think like their trajectory is past this? Like, because I guess for Kendall, if you want to start out, I liked how clearly they're hinting at like suicide, which I said that by the end of the show, I need Kendall dead to give me like
That's
the
why I wanted him to
definitive
do it.
ending.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, but also I came around to the fact that I'm so respectful of like where they had decided to leave this story with us, because they get you to the edge of the water, basically, kind of like leading you there, and you have Kendall looking out at the water rushing by. It's like there's a barrier between him now. He can't be in the water. He's out. He's out on
Yeah,
his own, and um, leaving it on the shot of him and his bodyguard. It's like this is a fate worse than death for Kendall. Maybe he'll be dead in a week, but like right now, we all have to live with Kendall's existence just as he does, with outside of his like life's ambition.
it's
It's just hard to swallow.
yeah. That's what I was thinking because I was thinking when you wanted Kendall to kick the bucket or somebody to die, but when he told them in the conference room, he says, "If I don't get this, I'll die."
I beat it.
And that's his death right there. He didn't get it. He's dead now. So in a way, he did die just because he didn't get what he wanted, and now he has nothing to live for, not even his family. So
Yeah. I
you know,
also yeah.
oh, I think like for Shiv, I completely agree with what you said earlier, Alex, about the circle.
yeah,
Because like I don't know what she's gonna. I'm assuming she's just gonna be Tom's wife now, basically. As for Roman, though, I like how they highlighted a lot in this episode how like he kind of like knows that they're like full of shit. Like I like that he's like finally made that realization that like I don't
Yeah.
know they don't really I don't know they're
Yeah,
just like
it's like
the
bozo
kids of a
news.
dude who made a giant fucking company. Like I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
And
spoiled
like
fucking still children. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, I
And
don't
when
really
they're
know what he's gonna do, but I don't know. I
what do
feel like
you think of like his ending, Roman, I guess? Do you think it's a hopeful ending or do you think it's a completely depressing ending or in between?
when he ordered
um
Jerry's drink, is that
Mhm.
what you're talking about? Yeah.
Yeah,
oh
like
yeah.
the drink at the end of the bar. That's basically the last instance we get of his journey, so.
I got a little more hopeful vibes, but maybe
No,
that's just because I'm an
I think
optimist.
it was kind of like what you're talking about with Ted Lasso, where they're talking about change, and the first thing the Trent Grimm said about how you grow into yourself. I feel like it was more like that, kind of.
Yeah.
Because like I don't know, he's a fucking weird guy, and he's done some weird shit over the course of the show,
Oh, yeah.
and like I feel like maybe that's a sign that he will start just like embracing like maybe the weird shit or like who he actually is. I don't know,
Mm.
like instead of like who he has to be,
Yeah,
like which is like an image of his dad.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
for sure.
No, that came through a lot in that family kind of meeting where
Yeah.
they're trying, like they're.
Yeah,
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
mine's not really a serious comment, but yeah, I was just gonna say he'll find somebody who's in the same kinks as him. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's like what I'm thinking. Yeah.
That's
Or
true.
like in the first season, I just assumed he was gay because like he has like his physical trainer like full on just like laying on him while he's on the fucking
Yeah.
floor. It was weird. I
He's
don't know.
like jerking off in the
Yeah,
skyscraper. Like,
he's into
yeah.
weird shit. Like I don't know. I just
When
assume he's
fucking
just gonna start embracing that. You know,
yeah,
like
when
Right.
more. I don't
girlfriend
know.
where he's like, no, you have to be like a corpse. I'm like, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
like
Whoa.
what the fuck? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I got hopeful vibes. Honestly, I listened to some creators talk about it, and they think he has one of the more dark endings. And I was like, really? I didn't really kind of because he's like the guy who didn't want it the most. He didn't need it.
Yeah.
He just needed like acceptance, and like
Yeah.
now that he can finally be out of that bubble and maybe start to accept himself a little more, that's kind of what I got from that. But
Yeah.
it's
And
it could go either way. These guys. So
yeah. They could all just spiral back down, become the fucking even worse versions of themselves.
Right.
Double down.
did you think like there was any thoughts that you guys had about Kendall? Was it death? Was it suicide? Or was it like he maybe is going to build his own company and start something else now? Or like, what's the
Mm.
Yeah, I think
consensus?
he'll head down that route. I think that the I guess the Waystar is dead now in him, so he's
Yeah,
got to have some sort of purpose. And I think he's too narcissistic to kill himself.
that's what I
So
was kind of leaning
Oh,
at too.
yeah.
Okay, I felt
And
the opposite. I felt like it left us where it's like he has no fucking will anymore. So
that's very possible. Yeah, I mean
uh,
that's why it's so
Yeah,
great
and
where
like
they left it.
him like
I think
going
yeah,
back into the meeting, like Frank
yeah,
telling him like, "Nah, we
you
did the
don't
vote,
have it.
dude." Like,
yeah,
like, and then Kendall just like leaving the building, like
just like
how the
shell
fucking camera
shocked.
just follows it. Yeah, like,
Yeah,
eh, I don't
That's
know.
rough. And they just dead
I thought there
walking
was gonna
through
be like
the
an
park.
explosion when the other guy got in that elevator, but like, nah,
mm,
he
Yeah,
just didn't say shit. Like,
mm,
it's got nothing. It's
yeah.
got nothing
yeah,
left.
I
And
don't
then
know.
yeah, Shiv. Would you guys say happy ending?
I
I
don't understand
guess.
Shiv. I don't get her.
Yeah,
I
Shiv and
understand
Tom
Shiv
are so
honestly.
fucking complicated, but yeah,
All these siblings are just like that cycle. I think you could use that for every character, honestly.
I
It's
guess that's
like
true.
It's just,
Yeah.
but with Shiv, she always acted like, oh, I'm gonna get these fuckers, and then when it doesn't go her way, she's like, hey, so Tom, you want to have a real relationship, or hey, Dad, I love you, or hey, Ken, we cool? I don't know. It's just she just
Yeah,
would
like,
cling to these people like she couldn't just be independent for herself. She would
mhm.
try, and then she would
well,
just be
she
like,
had no legs to stand on every time she was independent. I felt like because she decided not to go for the business earlier in her life, it's almost like she's shunned now in the
yeah,
storyline that we see. It's like no one's taking her seriously. No one. She can't be named because it's just it doesn't make sense. It does. It doesn't like. So it's like I understand her. Even if I don't like the decision she makes, I think
yeah,
she won. She
yeah,
ultimately is like the winner, other than I guess Tom, if you could say he won, but not. I mean,
But I
true.
mean, like of the siblings.
she's
Yeah,
still in the company, and she has
right.
access to power now in the company. She made the move at the end that was most beneficial to her as a person, which is exactly
Mhm.
what Kendall would have done.
Yeah,
And
I mean, like I feel like I don't know the progression of her, like her, or like at least like her train of thought through this episode. Like she thinks she's on top for like the beginning, then like she realizes that like Matt's is just gonna fuck her over. So like she doesn't really care about who it is. She's just gonna back Kendall. But then I feel like maybe a thought passes her mind that like if it is gonna be Tom, I mean like fuck Kendall. They've already and Roman
right,
because like they've already shown that they're gonna like stab me in the back. Like
yeah.
at least like Tom like is
will
a good
listen.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%. I mean, they gave you several examples this season where it's like, okay, we're in it, guys. We did it. We're together. We're fucking push forward. And then Kendall like doesn't include Shiv at all. Like multiple times that happens this season. So like to me, it's like they showed you everything they needed to do to make you understand why Shiv did it because Kendall's gonna do the exact same thing once he gets the CEO position. You're not gonna fucking talk to her. You're like, you got it. You won. Like
Yeah.
so who's the one person she can actually think about like trusting and being in with? It's Tom. It's like so. I mean that makes sense to me. I think the thing I struggled with her decision is the momentary instance of it where it's like I have to make this decision right now while I'm sitting in the chair after Roman said yes or whatever no. So like it's the worst timing possible, but like dramatically, that's when it had to be placed there
Yeah, I
plot
guess.
wise. So it's like I understand like it feels a little forced toward the end on how fast the decision is completely nixed.
Yeah.
I
I don't
think
know.
that's the biggest struggle I have with it, but
She
You
goes
talk, you
from,
guys.
oh, it's Tom, let's fuck him up, and then it's
Mhm.
yeah. So anyway, sorry.
No,
It
hearing
was quick. I mean, I don't know.
hearing you guys kind of talk about it, it makes a little more sense to me because it's like she is. I mean, it goes for all the characters, but they're so willing to like flip, on a dime.
Mhm.
But it makes more sense to me for her now because it's like she flips like in the business sense a lot and on like the emotional sense of like you know what I mean. Like I can understand that a lot more. Whereas like Kendall, he's just so fucking tunnel visioned on like getting to the top, regardless of like what happens to him personally. That's like that
Wow.
just makes them a little more predictable, I guess.
Like
And
kind of crazy. I didn't really think about it before, but like in like the first season, like after Logan has a stroke and Kendall basically takes over the company, there's like the first vote that you see of like the board members, and like Roman doesn't have the balls to like vote for
vote
Kendall.
against Logan.
Yeah. Um so like I don't know, it's just like interesting that like Shiv was the one in this board meeting to like
Yeah.
yeah, I
you
don't
could
know.
tell he
Well,
wanted to too. Like
it's
But I
also
guess it wasn't
smart.
really because she was like, it was because
Yeah.
of yeah, I don't know.
It's smart though because like that's the false victory that we're given is when he gets Roman to say yes because he forced it, like he hugs the stitches out of him, like he's getting him into submission, like
Mhm.
so when he says no, like Ken says fuck yeah, like he's the man, like I did it, like I got like I got the yes I
Yeah.
needed, and he overlooked Shiv, like he didn't value Shiv, so like or the getting the yes enough, so like that's the false victory with Roman, and then it's the gut punch with Shiv, but it works on that level of like payoff and
I thought it was
you know,
good. I
yeah,
don't know. I feel like it had to be that quick of a turn for her. I don't know. I feel like
in-
if it wasn't, I mean, like then like the whole part about like them coming in together as siblings, I feel like would have been like less drastic or less like meaningful, I guess, for that episode. I don't know.
yeah,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
yeah, for sure.
I will say the Shiv's very like a cold-blooded character. She's making moves because like when
Hmm.
they finally decide that they're gonna anoint Ken or whatever,
Yeah.
they're like out on the deck.
Quentin was king.
Kneel for
Wear
your
your
king.
hat.
She's like, you can smile, Ken, and like you can be happy about like we're gonna do it. So she's like leading him falsely too,
Mm.
and like it's not a good way to go about it, like.
Yeah.
But she's a very complicated character like everyone else, and she's gonna make decisions on the fly like everyone else.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so it's rough. It's definitely rough what happens.
it was
I guess-
funny like when they're all in the room and like no one in this room is gonna change their mind. And it's like you don't fucking know. Like you don't know that. That it goes for like this entire show. You really don't know like
Mhm.
Yeah.
what people are gonna
Yeah.
The
I was
pull
half
of it.
expecting like fuck, what's his name? The guy who like was with Sandy, he's like Kendall's friend. He's
Stu.
on
Oh,
the board.
Stu,
Stewie.
yeah.
Yeah, I for some reason I kind of thought that he was gonna switch.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, because he has before, like, so I
he's
don't know.
flip-flopped several
Wild
times.
card. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the one thing that just throws me wrong is like what I said earlier is Tom being put on top. So from that point on, because I mean the whole episode I was like on the edge of my seat. And I was making mac and cheese in between, pausing it, coming back, and I'm like, oh, who's gonna get it? Who's gonna get it? Because I didn't know, if it was Matson or if it was gonna be Kendall. And so I guess with it being Tom, after that conversation, I sat down in the chair and Sarah walked into the room because she watched all the way up until she didn't watch any of this season, but she came in. She was like, "So what's happening?" I was like, "I think some dumb shit is happening right now," because he was like telling Tom like this is what he wants, and I'm like, I don't like where this is going. So at that point, I think is where I kind of was just like, why Tom? Like I get like
Is
yes,
it
he's not a bad candidate, and it's his character is fine. It's just it didn't feel right because Matson didn't like him. So I don't know. But I
think
get what you
Matson
guys are
didn't
saying
like
because he's a
anybody.
dick sucker and all this stuff,
Yeah.
and he'll suck the toes of anybody.
Is it more that like is there any sourness that it's not Ken? You know, is
Yeah,
that like in
I feel like Ken deserves it, but that's just me. I
Oh, see,
think
well, that's weirdly that's where it worked for me because it's to the show's credit. It's like you, fuck it, like their people are willing to work with the people they hate to get where they want to
right?
get.
yeah, and I
He's
get
much
that.
more of a safe bet, like I said. Tom is like
Yeah,
he's running ATN at the moment too, where it's like he's working right now. You know, he's fucking
yeah.
working, like
But it's
grinding.
Grinder.
funny,
Yeah.
I guess leading up to this episode, I saw this like fan cut together, like how Kendall kind of mirrors. There's shots of Kendall mirroring his dad and all this stuff, and I'm like, Kendall, he's gonna get it. And then when he doesn't, I guess I was just kind of like, as soon as Matson was talking to Tom, I knew Ken wasn't gonna get it. So I was just kind of like, fuck, you know, because I knew Shiv would be pissed off about it, but she has Tom's baby. So at bottom of the line, if Shiv wants to stay connected in some fashion, you know, she has her in because she
Yeah.
knows Tom's weakness is emotions in terms
Right.
of like he actually loves Shiv. So like,
Let me ask you this: which do you think would be better, like running Fox, Ken or Tom?
Yikes.
Kendall, I think.
Yeah, probably Kendall. I know he was like looking to revamp the whole like political position of
Yeah.
18 or whatever.
I
Change
know
stuff up.
like Kendall's got the valor, he's got the talk, but like a big part of like why Shiv didn't pick him also is that throughout the whole show she's like, you can't do this job, like you suck, like, you know, like I don't believe that you can do it. He's like, I don't believe that you don't believe that, you know, like that's the whole time.
Yeah.
It's like I
What
love
does
Kendall's
Kendall
character.
believe?
Well, like I don't think
Right.
he could do it either. Like he's a
I don't.
child. He's like he only has one goal, and it's to be that job, and he doesn't know what it means. He doesn't know like
Sure.
why. So like to me, it's like I liked that Tom is it like I don't know. I question also. Do you think Kendall really deserves this, or like he story deserves this? Because I know Alex, you talk about how like you think good stories not I mean not trying to like say something but like storytelling characters shouldn't really change fully or like they don't become something they're not, you know what I'm saying, which I come around to that a lot and I like that thought, but to me that means that Kendall can't fully achieve this position because he will then be something he isn't, that the show has presented us that he is not this whole time, you know what I'm saying, so like
Sure.
that's
Yeah.
why it fully lands for me,
But
but
at the same time, if you know, even if Kendall does get it, doesn't mean that Waystar is gonna, you know, benefit from it. I think that for his character, that's all he knows. He lives and breathes Waystar. When he doesn't get the position or he's trying to like go around his dad and do all these things, it just does he flops and it doesn't feel right. But he just gets into the groove like when his dad dies and he gives that speech about living plus, it's like he's in it, you know, and he kind of hits those strides where it just feels right for him. But and
yeah, I
I
agree.
guess with the
Let's
character
try it.
changing, it's fine if it's like if it's organic and it makes sense. Um, it just, I mean, I guess I just don't understand how Tom rose in the ranks. I mean, I get that, you know, he was part of the family, so then he's head of ATN, but what has he done that's notable?
Well,
Anything?
I was like
Grade
thinking
A
about
shit
it.
eater.
He started in cruises, then he did ATN, now he's
Right.
CEO. Like he's worked up, but like, could you tell me a time that Tom wasn't like hyper focused on like the business going around? Because he's a very hard work. Like he is constantly engaged in the situation of the business. It's just that no one
First
fully
season,
takes him seriously.
the bachelor party.
That's true. This is a man that swallowed his own load, and now he's the CEO of Waystar Roco. But I mean, looking
But
back at Tom, I think he's a very competent, capable person that people aren't looking at as like that, and that's why the sneak attack that he had throughout the show is so justified for me. You know.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's fine, I guess.
I feel like doing this is like the sneak attack. He's like a shark coming out of the water, like eating somebody. Like,
But I think also like what makes this show a timeless show for me, and I think why it's my favorite of the three shows that we're talking about today, is like that nuance of the gray area of like anyone really could have had the job. You know, it's like they probably could have had it and done a pretty good job. It's just like who deserves it through the actions that they've done through the story and stuff like like so. I think what makes this show
Grade A
is so great.
shitty deserve it.
I mean,
Right.
it also is reflective of like corporate America. Like the yes man is gonna get a job, like so it's like you don't want the wild card son who is gonna snort coke and then fuck off for weekends. It's like all those macro images are there, but just I don't know, all the micro emotional stuff is what really makes the show nuanced and great. Obviously, so
I'm not
No,
saying
I,
it's a bad show by any means. I
no,
just
I got you.
I think this is the best of the three, I would say as well. But in terms of landing the plane, it did it the actually I think Barry landed it a little bit better. It just was a little bit more
yeah.
impactful.
But we
Barry
can
was
all
my
agree Ted
favorite.
Lasso was the bottom, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ted was bad.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But yeah, no, I guess maybe being a Ken head is just kind of
That's I think it
muddying my.
really. I mean, I
Fucked up
I
on
was a
Ken,
Ken
huh?
head
It
for
hurt.
like the first two
It did.
seasons of the show. I was a Ken head, and then I just realized how much of the cycle he's in too.
Yeah.
Like all the same. So it's
I think
like
it's also like when they hold him murdering that kid against him, it just feels like again kind of pulled out of left field because they've known about it for this long and they were like, yeah, let's put you in the seat, and then they're like, you killed the kid. Like they've had this in their back pocket, but like you've known about this. What do you
Yeah.
mean you're just pulling it out
Like you were
now?
just gonna let him do it. Like you were gonna let him be
Yeah.
CEO. Like
Shiv didn't she did she know about it? I didn't think Shiv
Yeah,
knew.
oh,
him
I
Did
think
she?
he
oh,
told
Okay.
both of
and her
them,
about it.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. My
She's like,
bad.
we
I,
killed the
Was it
kid.
in the third season?
is at
Like
the end of the
that
third
came
season.
out?
Yeah.
Okay.
At
To
the
me,
end.
yeah, that felt more like a move for Shiv to me in the moment. It wasn't really like I need to say this right now. I mean, it felt like the writers needed to get this moment out again, across to the characters and
Right.
talk about it. But to me, it was like Shiv was like trying to pull a reason now. It's like
Mm.
you can't do it because you killed a guy. It's like it doesn't have a lot of founding, and he's like saying like he's trying to backtrack it all as if it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then the backtracking is what really sets them off as like he's lying to us. He can't be trusted. It's like
Yeah.
I mean I totally get what you mean about how these things kind of come out of left field in like the writing. I'm just trying to like wrap it into character to make it work for me, and I think it kind of does. But
No, to like something I've just been thinking about because I think what Barry and Ted, well, what Barry achieved and what Ted maybe didn't, but I thought I still like it still brought up the thought in me was like Barry did it so well because it's so like encapsulated in like death as a theme. And I'm thinking like in a writing sense, you kind of have to like you have to write like a character's death, right? For them to like change to get them to be a new character. Ted, I think, failed in that way in a lot of ways. Barry did it so well because it was just like it was wrapped in the formula and like the themes. And this one just shows you like all these characters are perpetuating themselves. Like they're not like there's no ego deaths, that happen in succession for the most part. But I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Like as a writing sense, because I feel like it's like at a certain point to make that change in characters, like you have to kill their character to get them somewhere. I don't know. That's just
no,
something
I,
I'm
I
thinking
get what you
about.
mean.
Depends
I
on
think
what you
like
mean by kill their character, because I mean, if you're thinking like Saul, you have Jimmy, and that kind of kills Jimmy. Jimmy as a character dies,
Yeah.
and then he becomes Saul. So I guess that's the change in that, in terms of that. But that's an organic character change from start to finish, So,
Mm.
but
Mm.
it's always the same person. He just has, you have Jimmy, you have Saul, and then you have Gene. You know,
Yeah.
mm,
and each one
Yeah.
of those eventually dies off. So I guess in the sense that you can say that, sure.
Okay. No. Yeah. Yeah. I was just curious.
yeah,
'Cause
I think like
yeah.
the weaknesses that this show faces overall are the repetitive cycles that we're talking about, but also
Mhm.
storyline cycles. So I can understand what you mean where like this show like doesn't give you the change. It doesn't give you, that character arc. Like they're all the same people that they are at the beginning, at the end,
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Like
I'd say
slight
maybe Roman was different. Or I mean
Yeah.
Tom, I don't know, is more cold, like we
there's
said.
little
Yeah.
tweaks.
It's
and
like
adjustments.
subtle. Yeah, it's not
Right.
like
Yeah.
it's not like a full different character. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, no, they didn't go through a forced change or a forced character death change to make it like a whole new person rising from the ashes type of thing, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that is kind of a weakness of the show, but I keep going around to like how this people say this show's Shakespeare. This is modern day Shakespeare, and I 100% get what they're saying because the comedy and tragedy is so intermixed, and it's about characters and positions of power, you know, like fucking around with each other, and that's like what Shakespeare, a lot of his stories were about, and um, the the overall unchanging nature of the characters in the story to me again makes this like a timeless piece, and it also makes it a very cynical piece on the part of the writer to say that people don't change. Like, I mean, that's kind of what I'm getting to is like you get stuck in these cycles of life, and then if you don't get out of them correctly, you never will, you know. And that's it's a hard pill to swallow, but at the same time, it's what makes this show so good to me. It's like I don't need to feel good if I shouldn't be feeling good. You know, this show isn't
Yeah.
supposed to make you feel
No,
great.
absolutely. I think it's like the biggest one, like a great strength for Succession, and it ended up not being such a great strength for Ted. It ended up kind of like shooting themselves in the foot with it. But yeah,
So
no, I agree.
I guess Matt or all of you, I guess, do you? So as people, do you think that people can't change?
No, I don't think so. I think people can change,
I
but I
think
think people
I
are
think that
very resistant. They're very resistant to change.
Yeah. It's easier to not change. It's very hard
I
to
guess
change.
I guess I don't know. I'm just curious. Like literally, like today, like a couple hours ago, I was standing in Target and just like thinking about how fucking crazy my day has been and how many things have gone wrong today. And I'm just like thinking of like who I was like a couple years ago and how fucking anxious and freaking out I would be. And like literally, I brought it up with like the rest of the people with me. Leah's just like, I'm kind of surprised you're not freaking out right now because I was like acting so chill like the whole day. And like I don't know, I mean, maybe I've just chilled out more. Hey, that's a little change in my character, I guess.
You
Like
get
I
you
don't
get
know.
used to the change. You kind of welcome it. I think more, kind of like down for it. Like seek out
Yeah.
stuff that helps you with it.
I think people change. I mean, me personally, I used to be more positive, but now the world has kind of chewed me up, and now I'm like, nothing is
Not
fucking good.
necessarily a pessimist, but you're more of like a realist.
Yeah.
Maybe a nihilist, or realist. Yeah, that's better.
No, nihilist, I would care about nothing, but I do care.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
Yeah, no, I don't know. You get a taste of the world, and you just kind of be like, yeah, being positive isn't really like
Hard.
true. I mean,
Yeah.
people are
I
just
will
inherently
say-
bad, and you just kind of,
Gotta find ways
Oh, for
around
sure.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deal with your demons.
I will say like I think the biggest thing that I personally would take away from Ted Lasso, and I know we're talking about Succession right now, but like just that thing he keeps saying to Sam or like other players, like be a goldfish. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people could actually like benefit from that. I don't know, not letting like I don't know one person like ruin their fucking day, you know,
sure.
or like I don't know,
Yeah.
like ruin their time at something. I don't know, like
No, it's like one of the I don't know. We're getting deep, but like one of the things I've learned recently is like it's like it's so much easier to like hold on to like stuff. It's super hard to let go. But like the more you let go, the easier it becomes, and you kind of I don't know. It's good for growth. But
yeah.
and everybody has their methods of coping with things, and
right.
Some
the
self
things that
medicate.
right.
Yeah.
I'll be doing later.
The things that happen to you,
Go,
especially in your
baby.
childhood, affects you differently, So it's
Mhm.
just people are built different, and how you're affected and how you cope with it. That's just how you'll end up down the line. You should
Yeah.
choose that.
I think
path,
there's like some reassurance in there too, because it's like like kind of mentioned before, everyone's going through their own shit. Everyone's at different stages of their lives, and everyone's like that's the struggle I can relate to. So yeah.
Would you say that bringing it back to Succession, like this is a show that you wouldn't find a lot of hope in then, or you wouldn't find a? Because I was thinking about rewatching it. Not like I want to rewatch it, but if I rewatched it, I think I'd feel like a soaking of like tragedy more than
Yeah.
because like throughout the first watch, you're like kind of hopeful about
Yeah.
who's gonna make it.
Yeah. And you
And
kind
now
of
that we
want
know-
it to be good, and
Now that we know that basically nothing is gonna work out, I don't know. I want like it emphasizes a lot of the tragedy more now, and I'm just
Yeah.
curious, kind of where you guys land on that. But
no, I think there'd be a lot of like juicy stuff to pull on a rewatch. for this show, for this one.
Yeah, definitely different perspective.
Yeah,
It'd
like I
be a
said,
more sad watch, I'd say, just in
Yeah.
general for me. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, definitely.
I do want to ask you guys a question as I'm thinking about the whole Shiv bringing up the dead kid. Why does she think that Matson can pull it off? He gave cubes of his blood to this woman, and I mean,
Yeah.
That's fucked.
he didn't
Yeah.
kill anybody, but still
Yeah.
fucking
I-
bananas.
That's why I think her story, as much as she like won, kind of, it's not a very happy ending for her either, or Tom, because like on a whim he could be fired. Matson could just do anything he wants, and like so like really nobody won because Matson's got it, and
Their fates are still kind of hanging the balance.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't think she really trusted that Matson can do it. I think she maybe trusted that she had Tom and that Matson could maybe do it as equally as good as Kendall would do or something,
Yeah.
like
Probably.
Yeah.
And so solid ranking. Well, for me, I know it's different, but yeah, Barry, this one, Ted.
would you give if you rated TV shows, what would you give these shows?
like 5-star out of 5
5 or
stars?
10 or whatever, yeah.
Ooh, I'd probably give Barry like an 8.5 or an 8. Succession maybe like a 7 or 7.5. I think Ted's kind of in the 7 or 6 range. But I know that's
As
a
a
lot of
show
numbers.
or just this finale?
The shows, I guess.
Just as a
Little
show, I
show.
think as a whole. For me, yeah.
What about you guys?
If I'm going, I want to do it out of 5, just because that's what I do on
Letterboxd.
Letterboxd.
Yeah.
So I would say Ted's a solid like fuck between a 3 and a 2.5. I don't know. Those last 2 seasons kind of just brought it down for me. I might be a little harsh, but
Sure.
Barry, I would give it a solid 4, and then Succession would be around there 4.
Okay, cool. I'm multiplying them. Yeah, we're about there.
So yeah, I'd say I'll do mine out of 10. I'd say probably like Succession
IMDb.
and Barry both probably like 8.5, and then I don't know. I feel like just based on the first 2 seasons of Ted, I'd give it probably like a 7.5. I don't know.
Yeah.
Overall, I enjoyed it. Like,
Yeah, it's
All
actually-
really good shows. Like all shows
Yeah.
I would totally recommend to people to watch.
for sure.
Without a doubt.
I don't know, and I guess it like kind of depends on like what you would put as a 10 out of 10 show. Like, what would you
Correct.
guys put as a 10? Well, Matt, you say your rankings, and then we'll say what our 10 out of 10 shows would be.
I'd say if I did it out of 5, I'd do 3.5 for Ted Lasso. I think a 9. Not I just did point up to it. Scale of 10. 4.5 for
Whoa!
9 out of 5, baby. 4.5 for Barry. And I honestly think Succession I would label a 5-star, like 10 out of 10 show. So
Right on.
Right.
I like there's a few modern things like Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. Those are like pinnacles of storytelling. Succession is like a pinnacle modern Shakespearean tragedy drama. In the same vein of like Banshees of Inisherin, that's like one of the best modern parables I've ever seen, and like that defines like a modern attempt at something like that. So I mean, Succession nailed it, fucking nailed it. So
Hell yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, my 5 out of 5s are like, Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad, Fargo, The Wire. So, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I was
And all
gonna
those
say
are
probably
like character based. Maybe Fargo not so much, but like The Wire is some of the best character work. That's my number 3 show of all time. So, and
You guys didn't
my
say
3
Sopranos?
I haven't
Fuck
seen
off.
Sopranos
I
yet.
don't-
I haven't
just-
seen all of it yet.
I feel like that's the audience, or like any TV. It's like,
Yeah.
this is the OG. You can't.
I just feel like I don't know. You could take so much from like all 3 of the ones I listed are all character driven. So maybe that's what I lean towards when it's
Good character writing, man.
yeah.
Good character writing. Yeah, this is there.
execution, it's key.
Yeah.
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 Cool.
Yeah, I'd say like I don't know, the 3 I can think of right now. Obviously, Breaking Bad, Better Call
Okay.
Saul, and
Yeah.
the first season of True Detective.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I don't know.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Those are really all I can think of right now. If I had more time, I could probably come up with some more
Yeah,
shit.
trying to
but-
think.
Yeah.
Like,
Same.
I mean, Lost is like my favorite show, but I can be the first to admit I'd give it like 4.5. So
Because the end, I don't know. I still
Yeah,
have
those last
lost,
couple
though.
seasons.
the end's fine. The last season's a little weaker than most, but the end is actually a good ending to me.
The whole show
You
just
know-
beats the fuck out of you. You know, it's like
Well, that's-
Someday
Those first
I'll
four
finally get
seasons,
around
like-
to watching it. You know, like I don't know.
Yeah.
Hopefully soon, I guess.
It's good.
We'll see.
It's a hefty one.
Well, shit, man. It's been some fun talks these last weeks,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Man, what are we gonna watch now, guys? For
Yeah.
TV? Like fuck.
you guys want to watch Righteous Gemstones? That's coming
Yes.
out soon.
Okay.
Oh, I'm down.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna watch
Yeah,
that because
I
I'm
like that
liking
one.
that show now. So
Nice.
Yeah, I need
that
to
one,
jump-
we can talk about. It's not majorly serious show or anything, but it'll be fun. You know.
It's the second season coming out now, right? Or the
Third.
Cool. Okay. And how many episodes per season?
I think.
Give me the deets, Matt. 10
I just
half-hour
caught up on the
episodes.
second season. Yeah, it's like 30.
Yeah.
35 hours.
I could binge that in a couple of days.
You should
Uh,
you should check out Vice Principals too.
I've seen that one.
That one slaps.
Dude, I gotta watch
Okay.
all of Danny's stuff. Yeah, because I want to watch that and Eastbound and Down. Yeah.
This is basically like his third show, Righteous
Yeah.
Gemstones. You know, so
It's good.
I'd say Eastbound's my favorite, then Righteous
Yeah, let
Gemstones,
me write
Vice
those down.
Principals, but they're all.
Vice Principals, again, that first season of Vice Principals was so fucking good. I love it. But yeah, what else is coming
What else?
out though?
I'm just looking it up right now. Don't you
Yeah.
hurry. It's Always Sunny. Black
Always
Mirror's
Sunny.
coming out soon.
Okay.
I don't think I even watched the last season.
Yeah, I kind of fell off.
We'd
on-
have to, and like
on
that's
the-
not something that comes out like weekly, right?
They'll probably just drop them all. I think.
Which like we could do.
Yeah,
I'm
it'd
gonna watch
be easier. Be easy to do.
But Righteous Gemstones, The Bear. Bear's
Oh,
coming
yeah.
out.
Season 2.
Oh,
Bear might be
nice.
up there as like a.
Yeah,
as
we
one
could
of
do
my
that.
New
Well, I
recent
guess that's
favorite
also
shows.
like the whole season too, which is fine.
They might do weekly for The Bear. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah. Well, is it like straight up an FX show with
It's a-
Hulu or like okay? So it might actually be weekly then.
That's
yeah.
gonna be
I love it.
Oh.
I love it, man.
Yeah,
Give me the
me too.
weekly shit.
Fuck yeah.
Other than that, What We Do in the Shadows. How
Wait,
to with
that's-
John Wilson? That's
There's a
coming back.
new season of What We Do in the Shadows coming out.
42 days, it says on my TV
Hmm.
tracking app.
I mean, I'll watch it, but like, I was not that. I feel like the third
Please
season
don't
was so
spoil it.
good, and then the fourth
Yeah.
season was just not that great.
Hopefully they can rebound from like
I
the
hope so,
storylines
yeah.
that goes in that season.
I'm
but
kind of wondering how long it'll go on because like you have to end it at some point.
That's a
like,
Taika
maybe
show,
too
yeah.
much.
hmm
It started with him, but I think most people there's other people behind it now.
Yeah,
It's probably
probably.
best.
Yeah.
I will say on the subject of the shows we just watched, I was very it was such a smart move to end them when they did. I don't know what you guys felt. Like
Yeah.
I think 4 seasons is like a sweet spot of like television
I think
because it
5
like
is a good.
I think 5's good too if you have it,
Yeah.
but like the 4th season for Barry and for Succession just leaves you with a feeling of wanting more because it's not fully enough for me, you know, but like that's where you want to leave an audience, I'd say, to make a show repeatable or like timeless, like I said many times, but like
hmm
if you go on too long and you stretch it too long and it starts to get like tedious, like Ted Lasso, even in season 3, you know, it's
Yeah,
like
I
you
was
lose
just gonna
magic,
say,
you lose power, and
like, I think all of them like ended at the right amount of seasons, with the caveat that like Ted Lasso should have been just shorter episodes
maybe
with,
short
with
episode,
some
short season.
storylines cut.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But just it must be such a hard decision to end your show that early when you could probably do like another if you really wanted to, but like
Yeah.
that's what
Well,
you should
are they?
that's what you should aim for.
They gotta
think.
win the whole thing, dude.
Yeah, is there going to be a Succession spinoff down the road? Do you guys think?
Oh, shit.
I mean,
HBO's
see.
got new management, so who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah, who knows at this point? Yeah.
right. Also,
Have you heard anything about when the new season of The Rehearsal is coming out?
I just was looking it up. 78 days, Joe.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't
Oh
even-
hell yes, dude!
Excited.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I
That
really like the
series
first season.
is-
I feel like that show is just so fucking interesting.
I'm
Like,
curious. What
it's
he's gonna
basically
do.
just like a bunch of like really big social experiments, and
Yeah.
I feel like
Mhm.
that's just like
Correct.
fucking awesome. Like figuring out how like people think in certain situations, because
It's
it's most
crazy.
of them are like real. Like
Yeah.
it's real situations. Like,
Crazy what he gets on camera.
Yeah.
It's insane.
fucking wild. Yeah.
Have you guys watched Reservation Dogs at all?
Just the
Yeah.
first season.
I think I've watched both seasons.
That one's coming out too in 2 months.
That's
Uh,
It's an
good.
enjoyable show.
That's
Yeah.
a better Taika
Mhm.
production for sure.
It reminds me, like how the seasons are structured and like how they go about doing like character arcs and stuff. Reminds me of like how they do Atlanta, or how Atlanta was laid out. Because
Yeah.
like there are episodes that are like totally not about, like, a lot of characters are not in each episode,
Mhm.
but in like it'll be focused on like one character, and like they'll be doing some random shit, but then there will be some like character growth or like story elements like sprinkled in.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
felt that a lot.
Personally, I
with-
like that way of
Just like-
storytelling. I mean, that was also
Really?
like Cowboy
Yeah.
Bebop, kind of like, I don't know. I kind of like how that is. I don't know.
It
But
chunks it up nicely. Felt that second season of Reservation Dogs. I thought they did it too much almost because the first
Yeah.
season is like kind of free flowy, open.
I kind of agree. Like, because like really, it was like the last episode of season 2 was like a lot of story, right?
Mhm.
And then the rest of the, because there were
Every
10
episode
episodes
before
in
that is like
yeah.
individual almost, but yeah, it's smart. I can understand why you would do it. It's just I wanted a little more continuity because that's what they gave you the first season. But yeah,
Mhm.
I'm excited. Anyways, should we move on to our final chat?
Before we do that, I'm gonna take a quick bathroom break.
That's exactly what I was going to do too. Drink a lot of
Here
water.
we go. Oh,
I guess I'll just stay on.
all
Oh, my headphones. I know.
You know, I was looking over my notes for Zodiac, and I wrote a note at the bottom that was just like a general note about like Max, and if I've liked that like they've combined, and I feel like I'm just like I don't know, like there are things I like I said earlier, like Anthony Bourdain's shows and Chopped. I think I'm more partial to like cooking shows, but then I don't know, I opened it one time. The first thing that it's like trying to show me is like fucking Ghost Hunters or something, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, like take that shit off of here, like.
it's fishing for anybody who's gonna fucking, it's like, what kind of people
Yeah.
are coming onto our service here?
So like I don't know, I guess like I feel like there's just like, I feel like there's a lot of good stuff that probably came with the merge, and I feel like there's probably a lot of bad stuff that came with the merge too.
It's cluttered now. Like I saw that you have like a little HBO tab, which is like, yeah. I'm basically only going to this for HBO mostly, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm not. I don't hate it just because like I respect like business media decisions if they make sense in a way.
You think this made
That's-
sense, Matt?
I mean, if I ran that company, I would have done the same thing probably. Honestly,
Okay.
I wouldn't have. I don't know if I would have used the blue that they did, but
It was all
very
about the
bold
fucking
blue.
color.
It's a very bold blue. I will say it pops more than some other blues on the apps. I don't know if I'm just going way too in depth on stupid shit right now, but I don't know. I mean, that's the things I think about. So
You think about stupid shit too?
yeah, all the
Oh,
time.
yeah.
Dude.
All the time.
Can't stop.
Yeah.
Alrighty. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
Get after it.
The
Yeah.
next director's dive.
Yes. On with David Fincher's Dive.
Big
We're moving
Dave's
into
next movie.
2007's Zodiac. First time watch for I think only Joe, right? Everybody else has seen this one?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Cool. I've seen this one maybe, I don't want to say 10 times, but it's probably been like 10 times. Yeah, you know.
I've seen it quite a few too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
This is my
let me
second
ask
one
you
after
this:
7.
what? Well, I guess did you do the intro? Like, are we in now?
We're in, maybe.
Okay, my bad.
Awesome.
You can edit that out, right? Anyway,
I'll stay in.
so what order did you guys watch? Like this rewatch of Zodiac and the end of Barry? And did that? I don't know, because like for me, I watched Barry first, and like it was just like kind of interesting watching Zodiac after that. Like I was saying earlier in this episode, where like I don't know, like how much of this movie is actually like factually true.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming a
apparently
lot,
a lot,
but like
yeah.
I don't know. I didn't do any research on like the Zodiac killer. I should or
Don't
could.
Don't you worry, Joe. I got that on lock.
He's Noah's
But
the
yeah,
Zodiac.
I don't know.
Yeah. Ooh, shit.
I just thought it was interesting, and including like the movie that they made in the movie called Scorpio. Like I thought both were just like pretty. I don't know. It just like
That's Dirty Harry, isn't it? If I'm not
oh
mistaken.
Scorpio.
Yeah. Or is that Scorpio's the movie? With,
I don't know. Oh, like I don't know. They had a movie playing in there. Like Mark
like
Ruffalo
the
was in the
Scorpio.
theater, and then Jake Gyllenhaal comes out and like talks to him. That's like when they're watching the movie. But maybe it was Dirty
I
Harry.
think it's Dirty Harry. Like that movie might actually be inspired by like the Zodiac killings or something. Or that's what I thought, but it's been a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched it before I watched Barry though, but I didn't have any feelings you had because I know that what makes this movie pretty impactful to me and more enticing than most true crime shit is that I know David Fincher really cared about this case and dove into it on a level that most filmmakers or researchers wouldn't.
Yeah.
Just because he's so hyper intense about his stories and his visions. But so I was I just take it all face value, honestly, as like that happened, you know. So
Mhm.
there's probably some blending of truth and stuff, but a lot of this movie, the horror and the engagement comes from like how actually true a lot of it is. But that's just me. So.
Yeah. I'm not saying I didn't like it either because
Oh, for sure.
I
Yeah,
liked it a
I
lot.
get what you're
I
saying.
mean, like I just like it like made me think about it because I haven't done any research. Obviously, like you guys had all seen it.
Everything, Joe. Question.
I mean,
everything.
yeah, like I don't know, like
Well, I guess my question for you, Joe, is: was this a entertaining movie for you? Like, how did you like it?
yeah, there were parts where like I was a little bored, but for the most part, I was engaged the whole time. I think like it was kind of weird because like I guess like the overarching story is to like find out who the killer is and like characters come and go. I feel like that was like the only kind of like weird thing because like at a certain point Robert Downey Jr. was just like not in the movie anymore. And like that's cool. And like that is probably like because his character was no longer in the story.
Right.
And that's just because I'm assuming it was all like based on true events. That was like a little weird, I guess. And I'm not saying that was like bad.
Yeah. It's hard to track it.
And I
somewhat.
guess like I think it was just like I don't know, like it was just a really long movie. I'm not saying I didn't lose interest because like by the end I was still engaged. But I think there were parts where I kind of like dipped in and out, I guess. But for the most part, I was like fully engaged for the whole movie. I liked it a lot. I don't know.
Cool.
I know.
What was your guys' rewatches? How'd they do?
Oh, I'm just as entertained. I mean, the case is super interesting. I like serial killers are just interesting. I'm more of like the cult serial killers. That's more my vibe, more my style, my speed. But this one's just as
That's the
interesting.
kind of killing that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, I was like I said, the first time I ever watched it, I was super shocked in how much I just fucking loved it and was
Same.
like, I was in the whole time, and it was just like so well. One of my favorite like movie scenes, like from all movies, is when Jake Gyllenhaal goes to that the film man's house and goes down to his
Yeah,
basement,
dude.
and
Holy fuck, dude.
Yeah. Talk
and
about
you're
tension.
just
Like,
you're sweating the
Yeah.
whole time, and
Pretty
like
much just like from like the facts that you've like accrued over like time,
Yeah.
you know, like that the
Mhm.
guy had to have had a basement, you know, and you're
Right.
just like, oh fuck, like
Exactly.
Yeah.
It just
brings up
falling
so
into
many questions.
place, and you're just
yeah.
kind of like, oh my god, what's gonna fucking happen? It's hard to do that with like just isolated scenes like that. There's a handful that are just like solid scenes in multiple movies, but yeah, this is one of them that just is like, God, very good. And that's how the whole movie
Yeah.
feels. It's just you're always on the edge of your seat, kind of like with the detectives, you know. So
And I
enjoyable.
just like loved the vibe. Like right
Yeah.
off the bat, like I don't know, like late 60s, early 70s, I feel like it's just like I
Yeah,
don't
it's a
know.
good pocket.
I feel
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a nostalgia. Like this movie, I think like a lot of the entertainment value I found. I mean, it's a great case, and it does like lead you there the whole time. But just having it in the 70s and 60s like makes it more entertaining. I don't know.
Yeah.
And similar to what I have comments on The Social Network, it's like the setting that they've chosen is like almost it's like essential to the entertainment value of the movie almost. I don't
Yeah.
know. But it's just true to life. It's like that was the heyday for most serial killers too. It was like 60s, 70s. So it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
just a sweet spot for that too, I guess.
It also made me question like I wonder if the reason for that is just because of technological advancement or like
Like
if
serial
you just
killing.
don't hear about the serial killers as much. Like
I think it's like a lot of
because
like
like the
movement was
police like
happening in the
technological
country.
advancement because
For
like
sure.
obviously
Yeah.
they don't have that much like technology to like incriminate these people. Like I
Right.
mean
Yeah.
There
they're
wasn't
just
like
grasping at
DNA
straws
testing
like
and shit back
whatever the
then.
fuck. Yeah, the handwriting. I mean like are you
Yeah.
fucking kidding me? Like that's what you're going off of? Like I don't know. Like
And like
that's not
definitively
nowhere near incriminating like that I don't know.
Yeah. So much circumstantial
Just like the
stuff.
technology that they had at that time, I feel like was just like nothing. Like I don't know.
frustrating.
They gotta like
Yeah.
see the guy murder somebody, like to fucking catch him. Like
Right.
In that same vein, and the very vein that you're comparing to is when that lawyer talks to Fugues, and he's like, with Fugues is like, we have it on
yeah,
tape, and he's like, well, I could just deep fake, you know, or I could do this, and so I don't know. At this rate,
that is
it could
true.
go either way with the
Hmm.
technology that we have. You can get out of it, get away with murder, or you know,
Make
have
it work.
have a little bit more difficult time getting away with murder because everyone's got their phones open, recording everything. So,
Yeah.
but
I don't know.
I enjoyed this one just as much as every other time I've watched it, and yeah, I think it's because it's just like so concise. The timeline is there. You know, you're going through the years and like the info. You're there with the info as you know, Gyllenhaal and the journalists are like kind of finding it, and just yeah, it's just well crafted. The cinematography is like solid.
Yeah.
yeah,
Very
yeah.
clean.
Yeah.
I guess this time my 11th watch wasn't as engaging as my 10th, my 1 through 10. I don't know. Maybe it's
Why do you think that is?
I think maybe I've seen it too many times, honestly, or it's like the turns are all there and I've already turned them 10 times now, so it's like 10 times.
You gotta slap some WD-40 on those knobs.
Grease those wheels, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does
Still
that-
very
does that-
enjoyable. Still, yeah. What's up?
I was just gonna say, does that make it a bad movie, or is it just you just weren't in the mood for it this time around? Like, does it change your ratings just because this watch through you're just kind of like, you know?
Been there, done that.
Yeah. No, I was questioning that myself. It's like because I have it at 4.5 stars, and I almost want to drop it down to 4, but I don't think I should. Because the first 10 watch throughs were so like engaging every time.
Yeah, dude. I feel like
Um,
once you hit a point where you've watched it so many times, like if it starts to like if you start to lose interest, I think it's
It's
just
my
because you've
fault.
seen it too much. Like I don't think
Correct.
it's because it's a bad movie. Like
My point of like thinking it was as like not as powerful as I remember it was actually the basement scene, which the first time you watch that scene, it's like the intense feeling of like dread and come up like coalescence of story is intense. And when you watch it the 11th time, it's like I'm 2.5 hours into the movie. I don't know. It's like there's no tension left anymore in that moment. Nothing. Because you don't have it anymore. And you know it's not real. You know that is just like kind of a misdirect in the story. You know? So it's like I just think I don't know. I struggle with like how great of a rewatch this movie is, even though I've rewatched it so many times. I don't know.
Yeah. I think that with those scenes, those are hard to age. Like, I mean, you have the scene at Spawn Ranch in Once Upon a Time where you first time you watch it, you're like, holy fuck, you're sweating. Are they going to kill Brad Pitt, right? Or in Glorious Bastards, the first scene, and the
Bar.
basement scene at the bar,
Yeah.
And do those age well? I mean, you could say
Those
since you
two,
know what happened. I agree, those do. But with like, I even think Spawn Ranch ages well. I love that fucking scene. But I get what you're saying. It's just hard for these to age because you know the outcome.
yeah,
It's just, I guess, being in the moment of it. I mean, I still find enjoyment in it, even knowing that it's a misdirect. It's the fact that, like, the thought of him being down there and what could have happened,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
the fact
Once
that
you're
he
just in that
narrowly
character's
got out.
mindset.
Right.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
You're feeling his feelings for sure.
Like, I don't know. Do you think any of that too is because this is like borderline documentary and the other two things you described are not?
That's a good
I
point.
mean,
I
like, I
thought
guess
about
in
that.
Glorious
Point, yeah.
Bastards, kind of, but like, I mean, like, that scene is just pretty interesting in itself. I feel like just because of the acting and
Yeah.
stuff.
For sure, yeah.
No, I compared
Maybe.
it a little bit to Seven because it was like Seven's kind of a completely like fictional work, and this one's heavily based on real events.
Mhm.
And I think they're both still like amazing movies. Like they
Yeah.
still hit a lot of the same like notes. But something about the fact that this one's like real, it's like just like it's a knock above because it's like, oh fuck, like this happened in the 70s and
Right.
Mhm.
real
What
people were affected and
What
so
makes it
good.
more effective as a true story, I think, is that the fact that they never caught him, So it's always you have that whole aspect of it to chew on yourself and think, well,
Yeah,
what's
Yeah.
out there, So
for sure.
I think that makes it more
Is Ted
effective for a
Cruz the
true
Zodiac Killer?
story. Right. So
Yeah,
rather than the outcome of this true story, like the Nike movie Air that came out, or like Blackberry, the outcome of
Mhm.
those biopics. But this one, it's
yeah.
just kind of like, I don't know. It's still sort of up in the air, I guess you could say.
Yeah, they're like he's presenting all of the information that he's researched for you to make your own decision, basically.
Right.
And it's like it's very well done, and it's where it leaves you, I guess.
Yeah.
18 months of research, 10,000 documents. That's what Fincher went through. Like
Really,
yeah.
that's
to
crazy,
make
man.
this movie. Yeah.
I mean, he's got a weird
I'll believe him.
spot for serial killers. I don't know. Fincher's got a weird like spot for serial killing.
Mm.
I don't. He's about to make a new one about a serial killer too. So
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I think it's gonna be a good one. But if
And
it follows
someday
this,
there will be a movie made about him being a serial killer, right?
I think he's making these movies in order to not kill people. Like,
Yeah.
something's going on.
Right. Yeah.
He's living vicariously through these characters.
Yeah, he's got to get
Yeah.
all the darkness out of
Fuck,
him
dude.
somehow.
Yeah.
But, so I mean, if he's the guy to make this movie, and he did it right for sure.
Yeah. I have another question. I get this movie and Prisoners kind of go hand in hand. Great back-to-back watches there, I think. Jake Gyllenhaal smashes in both. But
Yeah.
just imagine what we could have had if Robert Downey Jr. didn't sign his life away to Marvel for the past 10 years.
Yeah,
It's interesting because I was actually thinking, like, watching this. I don't know. I guess you could call it a good actor but like, I would say Robert Downey Jr. to me kind of always plays like the same guy.
Yeah.
a little bit.
In a
I think
I
sense,
like
kind
him.
of,
I like
yeah.
Robert. Like, I feel, but like, I'm like, while I was watching this movie, I'm just like, wow, Robert Downey Jr. really isn't that different from like Nick Cage. Like, Nick Cage just has like way more fucking movies. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Nick Cage pretty much plays the same guy in most of his movies. Like, I don't know.
That's fair.
I don't know.
think,
Hey, that's just like my opinion too. Like,
yeah.
you don't have to
No,
fucking believe that. I
that's
just,
fair.
Yeah, I get
I don't
you.
know.
I think this movie was like even before Iron Man. It's like where
It
his
was,
career
yeah. Because
started
this
to
was
like
2007. I think Iron Man came out in 2008.
yeah, right.
From
So like
from what I've read,
even
this is
before
like
that,
this is what got him the Iron Man part, was
I
this
could see
character.
Right.
that. Yeah.
just
Gotcha.
brought him
maybe
back into acting.
that might
kinda.
just be why too, because he basically plays the same guy. I feel like.
Yeah.
Right. He's like, okay, I'm this character now. Maybe they want it for Iron Man, and I think he kind of just like lumped into that persona a little bit. But that's just
Yeah.
me.
I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see how he is in
Uh,
Oppenheimer and see if he's the same character.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I just got like an email about it, playing at the Music Box when it comes out
I'm
for like that
excited
weekend.
for that
So
one,
I'll
man.
probably get some tickets and go.
Another note I made about why this movie is engaging throughout the whole film is that it has like an almost endless list of like side character credibility that it's giving to this film with the acting. I have a list, just a small list here of John Getz, John Terry, Brian Cox, Philip Baker Hall, Dermot
Yeah.
Mulroney, Elias Koteas, and Jimmy Simpson.
Jimmy Simpsons.
That's secretly at the end there, like it's just like they're giving you the best of the best side character actors to like to keep you along the way, man.
Punch it
And
up.
yeah, I mean, you don't ever want to look away because everyone's so good in the movie.
Also, I was gonna say, like, not really anything to do with the movie. The guy who plays Logan in Succession, I don't know his actual name. I'm assuming
Yeah, Brian
he's one of
Cox.
those people that you put in those.
Mm.
He said, because they're talking about his acting career while he's like about ready to interview the Zodiac killer, and he says that he was on Star Trek, and he's like, "Oh, what did you play?" And he said he played the Gorgon, like, or Gorgon or whatever. Like, do you guys know what that is?
No.
That's like the most iconic episode of like the original series. He's like that fucking green monster. Like it's like a fucking green reptilian monster. That like
Okay.
I don't know.
And I guess that
My
must be
dad
true.
fucking
Then.
loves Star Trek, so like
Yeah.
that's where.
That's cool.
Yeah. So.
Did you guys? I mean, I wrote. Is this the best true crime movie of all time? What would you say? Like,
I would say probably.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen too many other ones, but
I guess like narrative too, because I mean, as much as this almost is like a docu-series feel, it is like a narrative feature, obviously. So like,
I would
I
say
don't.
this is probably the most successful.
Yeah.
I think it benefits too, like I said, just having such an open ending, and you have to
Yeah.
come to the conclusion of who is the
What
Zodiac
do you
killer,
think? I mean,
But
it's
it's
Arthur
kind
Lee
of
Allen, right?
obvious. Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
kind of obvious.
it's
Yeah.
Or
got
what could be
It,
that guy in the
it's
basement?
it's so frustrating too, because the guy had a heart attack, so like no one could truly
Yeah.
know. It's just
yeah,
fucking.
it's
You haven't
I
really
mean,
got any justice.
It's crazy.
yeah.
it's
And that comment at the end, when Jake Gyllenhaal's character, like the real person, said that he stopped getting phone calls like after Arthur Lee Allen died. Like I think
Yeah.
that's like yeah.
there's a
That's
lot of
pretty-
things that I mean, the speech that or like the fishing talk that the guy like breaks the case on Arthur Lee Allen, where he's like saying he basically gives his buddy the whole gist of what he's gonna do. It's like if that's legit and that's real, that is 100% Arthur Lee Allen then for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, because he basically said every. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to.
Also, too, when he's like running through when Jake Gyllenhaal is like comes to Mark Ruffalo's character and they're like eating dinner and he's like running through the timeline.
Yeah,
of shit.
it just
You're
makes
like,
so much
you're just like,
sense. Like,
whoa, like,
Like lived
yeah,
across the street from the first girl getting married. Like it's like they're.
yeah,
I had a friend named Lee. It's
he
like
went to prison for a couple years. That's when there were no
no
killings.
letters,
Like
yeah,
immediately
killers.
get like more letters and like calls and stuff after. Like
yeah,
the frustrating thing about the case for me overall too is like the handwriting sample is like the hinge point of like pursuing Arthur Lee Allen, I
dude,
guess.
right? And like,
And
what
to
the fuck? Like,
definitively say it is not him at all, and we can't do anything. It's like that's the thing that stopped the investigation is like a left-handed
yeah.
handwriting sample. Like
And dude, like the guy's ambidextrous, and I love how they threw in the other expert. Then he's like, "This guy trained me," but then he has to
Yeah.
say that
different
like
schools of
this
thought.
is
Like,
yeah, because like I
Ridiculous.
mean I don't know, and I don't know.
yeah, it's fresh. It's like clearly maybe that time they hadn't evolved like their thought process enough.
Yeah.
And like that's what's.
I guess it
frustrating.
just like shows like how much they were just grasping at straws too. Like
Right.
Yeah.
They
Just
listen to
trying to-
one qualified guy be like, nah. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, shit.
Yeah, plus
or
it's
like
like
that
an
they had to
emerging
resort to a
time.
handwriting sample. I mean, like
Right.
that they didn't have anything
Fair
else to go on. Like I mean,
Yeah.
because they have
Partial
nothing else
print,
to work on for the
barely-
case. Like
Yeah,
I don't know. I just feel like I don't know, dude. Like
Yeah.
just getting a handwriting sample from somebody, that's like your proof. Like
it's
And like
interesting.
the person knows they're getting handwriting sampled. It's like,
Yeah,
so wouldn't
like-
you switch
Right.
slightly on your fucking writing shit?
And another interesting part of it was when Jake Gyllenhaal goes to talk to Robert Downey on his boat, and he says,
Pog is playing in the back.
yeah, and Robert Downey says there's like X amount of people dying, and we're focusing on a guy that's killed a handful of people. And it's interesting because I mean, obviously that's probably what the killer wants. He wants the publicity, And I mean, we just give those people that. I mean, look at Charles Manson. He
Right.
never truly killed anybody, but
Yeah.
that's all we could talk about. This Manson's this killer. I mean, sure, he brainwashed and drugs and all that good stuff. Potentially worked for the CIA. But, you know, I got a great book to recommend if you're interested.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting how we glorify all these serial killers.
Yeah.
It's what they want. It boosts their ego.
I was
and-
thinking about Dahmer, and I was like, that is a show that is completely the opposite of something like this, where it's like we're with people who are trying to figure this shit out,
Mhm.
and trying to work
Not
the
with
case.
the serial killer. I mean, we are in moments, but it's mostly
Mhm.
like the survivors' experiences. So.
Yeah, and you get all the sides of the people who are actually like somewhat affected by it, rather than following the fucking guy who's just butchering
That's true.
people.
That's a good point, actually, about why it's like a better true crime overall picture.
Mhm. That's what I hated. There was like another, I think it was a Netflix series, but it was like a Jack the Ripper copycat killer, and same fucking shit. He self-inserted himself in the case and was like early on was like ruled out as a suspect for like some dumbass reason, and then ended up being the guy the whole time. And it's like, come on, man. Like, I mean, I get for this movie, it's like you guys said, emerging technology. It's like there's probably like the first string of serial killers, so they don't even really know what's happening on like a psycho kind of level, like a
Cool.
yeah. So it's like I'm sure those were some of the hurdles, but no, I think I mean the research speaks for itself in this one, and David Fincher is definitely like the guy to make something like this. So
And
No,
he's
yeah.
basically telling you who he thinks it is, I'd say. Like,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
he's giving you his theory, I'd say,
Yeah,
at the end there.
Yeah, I kind of want to
He
read
is Jake Gyllenhaal.
book.
Let's be honest.
Right. That's the book that's the author of the Zodiac book. I kind of
Yeah.
want to get that to read just to see.
That'd be interesting.
Dude, I love
firsthand.
how Jake Gyllenhaal's character too is just like the fucking cartoon guy for
Yeah.
the
Don't you have a
Yeah.
cartoon to finish?
yeah.
Just loves
I thought
puzzles.
they were so good.
Yeah.
Dude, and it was crazy that like the 3 books that he checked out from the library, like he looked into that further and they were just like gone from all these other libraries. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, I thought that was pretty
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah, it is.
No, yeah. I mean, I don't have too much to say just because I love this movie for what it is, and weirdly 7 was the first one I watched the Finchers, and then this was the second one. And they're both just fucking
Yeah.
tops, man. They're fucking good.
I
I
have
think
I have another note of just like I'm trying to get behind Fincher's filmmaking mindset, and he's very composed, obviously, very smart guy, very reined in, I'd say mostly. But then he has these uses of CGI that I find to be kind of like bold, or like I
Yeah.
wouldn't think he would be about that because it maybe doesn't look perfect or something, Like I thought the building montage where it's like time lapsing the building getting built.
yeah, that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked it. That's like he uses like tiny moments like that.
I did
and
notice that like specifically though. I'm like, why is the like the day is not changing as quickly as the building is being built?
yeah, it's kind of weird, I guess, in just like a shot sense.
All the blood is CGI too. I don't know.
Yeah.
All of the blood was
Interesting.
Really?
And then like the overhead taxi shot, obviously fucking sick. But
Mm.
those are all like completely computer generated, I think. I don't know. I just like I respect his decision to try stuff like that because I wouldn't really think he's the guy to go for like CGI or fake shit or something, Like
Yeah.
as long as and he did it in Panic Room a couple times. He was like testing it out to see if it like fidelity or whatever, But I don't know. I just note I was like he uses CGI in smart little instances,
Two giant dragons fighting each other or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a giant ass fucking sound stage with
Right.
yeah, 0 fucking heart.
But other than that, yeah, like I said, great movie. I don't know if I'm going to be rewatching it as often after this watch. That's just my flavor I got after it.
Yeah.
But yeah, great movie.
Definitely a great movie. 4.5 still for me.
Yeah,
I'll
I was
leave
like this close to going to 5, but I don't think it's not perfect. Like you said, there's some like lows just in the pacing where I was just like, let's keep it, moving along here.
I think I'll probably put it 4.5. But I think I think 7 is still my top of David
Yeah.
Fincher.
It's
But
good.
this was close. Like this is my number 2, I
Yeah,
think.
for sure.
Right on.
I think that's about where I land as of right now. We'll see. We'll see what the heart says.
Yeah, I
at
guess
the end.
we still
Yeah.
got a lot more to go. So like,
Oh yeah.
but
And
I feel like these are probably his 2 best. But I could be wrong.
Well,
He's
I
got
mean,
some
just
good
you
later.
Heavy
wait.
hitters.
Just you
Yeah.
wait.
What
We're going
what
down
is
in a
next?
dip, I
Actually,
think, though, because it's
Oh,
Benjamin
yeah.
Button.
Have you guys seen Benjamin
I
Button?
actually have never seen this.
No.
I've seen this one, so
I've
I'll
fallen
be
asleep.
the
I mean, I know like the
Brad
premise, kind of, but that's
Mhm.
really it. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Brad
Seen
Pitt
it
again,
a
though.
couple times.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, back to Brad.
Love
That's
me some
nice.
Brad Pitt. Yeah.
Go on a long journey for that movie next week too. It's kind of a long one, but it'll be a fun talk, I think, for that
Yeah.
one too. So
Decent.
Yeah.
And maybe just put a cap on what you guys were saying earlier about Dirty Harry. I didn't know this. I just looked this up. But Fincher grew up in the Bay Area, and like
makes sense.
at the time it was
Yeah.
happening, yeah. And then
Holy
saw Dirty
fuck,
Harry
dude.
and fucking hated the way Dirty Harry did it, so that's why he went.
So that was Dirty
Gotcha.
Harry though.
Yeah.
Where it was like
I
supposed
thought.
to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
The most significant cinematic take on the Zodiac was Dirty Harry, and
Wow.
Clint Eastwood's pursuit of him. And
I
he did
feel
not
like
it.
that is what solidifies like my mindset for thinking that this is actually like very well thought out, like based on true
Yeah.
events. Like I can trust this movie to give me the I can trust that this information is correct. You know.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he's kind of giving it shade already on like the
Yeah.
untruth of it all.
Mhm.
Oh, that's cool. I mean,
No, but if you're into true crime, like we said, this is top notch.
Definitely.
Check it out.
for sure.
Yeah, some good shit.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next week with The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. See you then.
Yeah.
right.
Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't
Yeah,
already.
smash that like button.
Leave a
Comment away.
comment.
Please.
Yeah.
Or just come, yeah? Not in a weird way, but come. Watch.
Maybe in a weird way.
A little weird.